Chapter 6:13. Inside the tranquil gigantic gourd, a realm master dressed in green with black hair sat quietly on a vine seat. Below were hundreds of important realm tree officials. Prime Minister Rong-myuk was currently cupping his fists and bowing as he spoke. It is reported that the All-Empty sect has already joined forces with the experts of the Sword-Seeking sect, Luotong sect and the Star Sword Pavilion to construct a realm-crossing bridge, in order to forcefully cross the border and enter my Wanhua realm. This subordinate predicts that they will arrive at the Wanhua realm's gate of nature in 7 days. As soon as he finished speaking, the officials began to stir. They actually joined forces with 4 big sects to deal with our Wanhua realm. What are the people from All-Empty sect trying to do? Is this pressure on us? Although our Wanhua realm can't compare to the Sword World, we are still an independent realm. They are just a few sects. Could it be that they want to destroy our Wanhua realm? Realm Master, although our Wanhua realm advocates peace, we cannot use words to maintain peace. This way, it will only make others feel that our Wanhua realm is easy to bully. A middle-aged woman stood out, cupped her fists and said, "Realm Master, do you still remember why we issued a ban, forbidding people from other realms from entering the Wanhua realm? It is precisely because after they entered the realm, they wantonly destroyed and ignored the laws, causing indelible scars to our Wanhua realm. But what was the root cause of this? It is precisely because the people of the other realms think that the people of our Wanhua realm will not easily kill, that even if they violate the law, they can still get away with it, which is why we are in such a situation today. Realm Master, I think that we should organize an even stronger army to expel the people from the outside world. There is no need for a place like the Linglong Mountain." As soon as he said this, a group of people immediately echoed him. Lord Lu is right. If we continue, those arrogant people will only become more arrogant. We have to show them some tricks and make an example of them. The crowd was excited. Realm Master did not say a word. Seeing that, Rong-myuk shook his head. Lord Lu's words are too serious. Once we do this, our Wanhua realm will lose its foundation. Does the Prime Minister still have any concerns? The woman called Lord Lu asked. Of course. Rong-myuk said indifferently. According to reports, the True Devil Realm has already received the news that the All-Empty sect is attacking our Wanhua realm. Although the True Devil Realm did not make a move, I am very worried that they will interfere at this time. I think that it would be best if we could not fight with the All-Empty sect, otherwise once the two sides start fighting, it would be uncontrollable. True Devil Realm. Lord Lu gritted his teeth and said angrily, "This bunch of bastards only seeking profit. They are all despicable people. If I had divine powers, I would definitely exterminate them. True Devil Realm is not filled with evil people. The ones who are harassing my Wanhua realm are just a few of the evil forces. If the True Devil Realm has any movements, why can't we ask for some external help? After all, these evil people are public enemies." An old man stood up and said, "That's right, we can also invite some sects and powers to deal with the people of All-Empty sect. Lord Lu, we cannot touch the people of Linglong Mountain. Who knows, we might have to rely on the various sects and clans in Linglong Mountain for this matter." Humph, will they help? Those are all outsiders, they only care about themselves. Lord Lu said coldly. You can't say it like that. Now that they are also living in the Wanhua realm, they are already on the same boat. Now that the Wanhua realm is in danger, how can they just stand by and watch? That's what you say, but the human heart is unpredictable. The group of officials argued and their opinions were endless. Even Rong-myuk would interject from time to time, causing the scene to be extremely noisy. However, after discussing for a long time, they still could not come up with a suitable decision. It was truly worrisome. However, the Realm Master was still sitting calmly on the fishing platform, quietly looking at the officials below. She did not speak, nor did she have any expression, as if she was thinking about something, causing others to be unable to guess what she was thinking. Report. Just then, a soldier dressed in green armor rushed in from the gourd. The soldier looked flustered. He quickly rushed over and knelt in front of the Realm Master. What is it? The Realm Master finally spoke. Her voice was clear and melodious, giving the noisy gourd a voice that was as clear as a spring. However, what the soldier said next made no one in the mood to appreciate his pleasant voice. Reporting to Realm Master, there is news from the Sword World that the Cloud Heavenly Palace is involved in this matter. The 13th Elder of the Heavenly Palace, Jean Maluo, has brought a total of 9,000 experts and disciples of the Heavenly Palace to the place where the All-Empty sect is setting up the bridge. The soldier shouted with a trembling voice. Almost as soon as he opened his mouth, the entire audience quieted down. After the news was reported, the entire audience was still terrifyingly quiet. It was as if a strand of hair would make a loud sound when it landed on the ground. Everyone stared at the soldier in a daze for a long time. It was difficult to recover from his shock. Cloud Heavenly Palace? The middle-aged woman called Lord Lu's mouth was knotted as she shouted in a trembling voice, "You're talking about, is it really Cloud Heavenly Palace?" Yes. The soldier's face was deathly pale and his voice was trembling. This subordinate did not believe it at first and asked again and again. That brother said that he stared at it for a full hour and was sure that it was indeed someone from Cloud Heavenly Palace. Everyone was shocked. This time. This is bad. I never thought that the people from Cloud Heavenly Palace would actually interfere in this matter. Realm Master, what should we do now? Cries of alarm rang out continuously. At this moment, not many people were talking about resisting anymore. Instead, they were all panicking. It could be seen how powerful Cloud Heavenly Palace was. All-Empty sect leader Xiao Changtian's wife is called Phoenix Lady, and it is said that she came from this Cloud Heavenly Palace, and this 13th Elder is called Jean Maluo. Could it be that this Phoenix Lady has some sort of relationship with Jean Maluo? Rong Myuk said solemnly. Xiao Huilin is Phoenix Lady's son. It is not surprising that Cloud Heavenly Palace would make a move. Following the soldier's report, the boiling gourd cavern gradually quietened down. Everyone was silent, their heads lowered, as if they were thinking about something. The atmosphere was extremely strange and tense, and an uneasy feeling surrounded everyone. Realm Master, if we have Cloud Heavenly Palace's help, I'm afraid it will be extremely difficult for us to contend against him. Rong Myuk cupped his fists. Cloud Heavenly Palace is also famous in the Sword World, no one can compete with him. With the involvement of this sect, I'm afraid the nature will be different. Prime Minister, what do you think we should do? Realm Master looked at Rong Myuk and spoke softly. Rong Myuk bit his lower lip and said, if it was only the All-Empty sect and the other powers that had interfered previously, there was a high possibility that we could have argued, and even a battle with them was not without confidence. But now that the Cloud Heavenly Palace has interfered, the nature of the battle has changed, we argue. No, fight. Even more so, now that things have come to this, there is only one way. Speaking till here, Rong Myuk stopped talking. Realm Master looked at him, and said indifferently, you mean to compromise with them? Other than that, it's hard to avoid swords and weapons. Rong Myuk said. But if that's the case, then we have to hand over the person who killed Xiao Huilin. Realm Master said softly. This is extremely unfair to her. Everyone knows what Xiao Huilin has done in my Wanhua realm. She killed Xiao Huilin, but in reality, she stopped him from doing whatever he wanted, and protected the peace of the Wanhua realm. But if we do not hand her over, the Wanhua realm will not be at peace. Rong Myuk sighed. Realm Master was silent again. After a long while, she raised her head and said indifferently, you guys can leave first this matter. Let me think about it. Seeing that, everyone looked at each other in dismay. In the end, they cupped their fists and bowed before retreating. The group of people left the mouth of the gourd while whispering to each other. However, it was clear that everyone still had worried and nervous expressions on their faces. The arrival of the Cloud Heavenly Palace was like a blow to the head, making them feel extremely uncomfortable. Master Rongmyuk, what should we do now? Looking at the Realm Master, it seemed like she did not plan to hand over the murderer who killed Xiao Huilin. If that's the case, wouldn't our Wanhua realm suffer a great calamity? An important official quickly walked over and said to Rongmyuk worriedly. However, Rongmyuk could not help but shake his head and said indifferently, Realm Master will have his own plans, everyone, do not worry too much. With that, he ignored the Realm Tree officials and quickly walked away with his head lowered. When the group of ministers saw this, they were puzzled. As for the important official, he was even more helpless. From the looks of it, Master Rongmyuk also supports the Realm Master, and does not want to hand over the murderer who killed Xiao Huilin. The people at the side looked at Rongmyuk, who was walking further and further away, and said indifferently, If we hand it over, our Wanhua realm's reputation might not be preserved. But if we do not hand it over, the one who will not be able to protect is our Wanhua realm. Compared to the Wanhua realm, what is so important about a mere reputation? At this point, arguing about this is useless. We will definitely not be able to beat them, but if the Realm Master is not willing to compromise, what else can we do? Once the war starts, we will definitely not be a match for the people of Cloud Heavenly Palace. I'm afraid that when the time comes, there will be a lot less of us here. Little? If the other party is angry, I'm afraid we will all be killed by the people of Cloud Heavenly Palace. Sigh, what should we do? The group of people gathered together, discussing and sighing. Helpless voices rose and fell one after another. Hey everyone, since the Realm Master is not willing to compromise, why don't we compromise? How about it? At this moment, a man with a crew cut and a scar at the corner of his eye said in a low voice. Everyone looked towards the source of the voice and realized that the person who spoke was the newly appointed Realm Tree Imperial Guard Captain, Zhu Gu. The Imperial Guard Captain was the person in charge of the defensive forces around the Realm Tree. The previous Imperial Guard Captain had died due to an accident during a mission, and Zhu Gu had taken over. Zhu Gu had been transferred from elsewhere, so no one was familiar with him. However, at this juncture, Zhu Gu's words had shocked everyone. Compromise? Zhu Gu, what do you want to do? Lord Lu said coldly, as if he was disgusted by this person. Zhu Gu smiled slightly. My lords, I know that all of you are thinking for the Wanhua realm, and do not wish for the Wanhua realm to start a war with the other powers. Since this matter can be avoided, why can't we avoid it? Don't you know why the Realm Master is unwilling to accept Prime Minister Rongmyuk's compromise? The reason is actually very simple, she just can't let go of her face, she is afraid that the people of the other realms will criticize her, so she doesn't agree, but what if we bear this infamy? When Zhu Gu's words fell, everyone was stunned. Very quickly, everyone understood what Zhu Gu meant. Chapter 6:14. After bidding farewell to the old man and obtaining the 2 materials to repair the Lotus Star Sword at the entrance, Su Yun left the dark place. Ling Qinyu was not in a hurry to return to the sword sheath, but followed Su Yun. Su Yun was not in a hurry to leave the Linglong Mountain. He still had 2 things to do. The first was to return to the Lotus Star Sword sect and use the materials from the treasure deposit to repair the Lotus Star Sword, and the second was to receive Ling Qinyu's guidance and practice the Burning Heaven sword formation. Although the Lotus Star Sword sect had suffered heavy losses, the cultivation facilities inside were still considered complete, especially the Lotus Star Sword sect's sword crafting furnace, which was the best tool to recast the Lotus Star Sword. Su Yun and Ling Qinyu walked towards the Lotus Star Sword sect. Along the way, anyone who met Su Yun would recognize him as the one who had defeated the Black Hawk cult, defeated Xiao Huilin, and saved the Lotus Star Sword sect. Those who were weaker than Su Yun would respectfully address him as sect leader Su, and those who were stronger than Su Yun would also call him Brother Su. Su Yun smiled and replied casually. Ling Qinyu, who was at the side, secretly found it funny. Originally, it would only take him half a day to return to the Lotus Star Sword sect from the entrance of the dark place, but it dragged on for an entire day. By the time they reached the foot of the Lotus Heart Mountain, the sun had already set. In front of the school gate, the two guarding disciples saw Su Yun from afar, but the two of them were not sure. When Su Yun approached, the two disciples ran over ecstatically and bowed to Su Yun. One of the disciples returned to the sect and informed Hua Tianwu and the rest. Before Su Yun even entered the school, he saw Hua Tianwu leading all the experts of the Lotus Star Sword sect out to welcome Su Yun. Tianwu welcomes sect leader Su. Hua Tianwu revealed a happy expression as he walked over quickly. "Welcome, sect leader Su," everyone shouted. Seeing that, Su Yun laughed bitterly. "Tianwu, you are the sect leader of the Lotus Star Sword sect. I am just a vice sect leader with a false name. Logically speaking, I should be the one to bow to you. Why are you so polite?" Su Yun could not help but ask. If there is no sect leader Su, there would be no Tianwu, and there would be no Lotus Star Sword sect. No matter if you are the vice or not, in our hearts, you are the sect leader of the Lotus Star Sword sect. Hua Tianwu said seriously. Su Yun felt even more helpless. "Alright, stop nagging here. Your sect master has just finished his business and is exhausted. Hurry up and arrange for him to rest." Just as everyone was about to exchange pleasantries, Ling Qinyu opened her mouth. Hearing that, Hua Tianwu immediately called out and asked his disciples to arrange a place for Su Yun to rest. Su Yun turned and smiled at Ling Qinyu. This time, it was Ling Qinyu who helped him out of his predicament. If not, it would have been another round of pleasantries. "Sect Master!" Just as Hua Tianwu was getting people to arrange for Su Yun to rest, a series of shouts came from outside the sect. Everyone turned to look, only to see a Lotus Star Sword sect disciple dressed in a white Blade Master outfit rushing over. His expression was slightly flustered. He'd consumed quite a bit of profound energy to the point that his complexion was slightly pale, and sweat was ceaselessly dripping down from his forehead. Seeing this, Hua Tianwu frowned. "Li Wen, what happened?" The disciple called Li Wen knelt down on one knee and bowed towards Hua Tianwu. He did not even have the time to look at Su Yun and shouted. This disciple just received news from the Realm Tree, saying that the All-Empty sect brought along the Swordsmanship-seeking sect, the Luotong sect and the Nebula Sword Pavilion to build a bridge, and prepared to enter the Wanhua realm to attack it. What? Everyone was shocked. All-Empty sect? The All-Empty sect from the Sword World? Hua Tianwu's face became heavy. I have heard of this All-Empty sect before, although they are extremely strong and are quite famous in the Sword World, but with just these 4 sects, to deal with the entire Wanhua realm. I'm afraid it's still not enough, right? Where did they get the guts to do such a thing? Li Wen paused for a moment, his expression somewhat hesitant, and said, "It is said that there are people from the Cloud Heavenly Palace suppressing the formation. This time, the 13th Elder of the Cloud Heavenly Palace, Jean Maluo, has also rushed to the side of the Bridge of Realms." As the sound of his voice faded, the astonished crowd fell silent. Hua Tianwu's eyes were wide open, cold sweat dripping down his face. The rest of the people were even more dazed, as if they had heard something incredible. "Is what you said true? The people from the Cloud Heavenly Palace are really involved?" Hua Tianwu regained his senses, his voice somewhat tense. "It's true," Li Wen said. "Then this time, the Wanhua realm is in trouble." Hua Tianwu's expression changed. When Su Yun and Ling Qinyu saw it, they were extremely curious. "Tianwu, what's going on with this Cloud Heavenly Palace? What is the All-Empty sect? Is it very powerful? How does it compare to my Lotus Star Sword sect?" Su Yun asked. "Sect leader, please don't joke around. How can my Lotus Star Sword sect compare to the All-Empty sect? And the All-Empty sect and the Cloud Heavenly Palace are even more incomparable. Sect leader, do you not know about the Sword World?" Hua Tianwu asked. "I don't know. Su Yun shook his head. I don't know anything about the other realms. Tianwu, tell me about it. I won't talk about the Sword World's all-empty sect in detail. I will talk to you about the Cloud Heavenly Palace. Hua Tianwu paused for a moment, then said with a serious expression, There are many sects in the Sword World, and all of them use the sword as their martial arts. It is a true world where the strong preys on the weak, and it is said that there is only one way for the people there to raise their cultivation, and that is to continuously fight. Perhaps it is because of the special nature of the realm, but their profound qi is different from ours, and they can directly obtain cultivation and strength from battle to increase their own strength. Therefore, the Sword World is filled with disputes, and the Cloud Heavenly Palace is one of the famous 3 great sword sects in the Sword World, and can be said to be a top power, with tens of millions of people in the sect, and many realms have their people. Not only that, the Cloud Heavenly Palace has a complicated network of relationships, and its power is huge, and it is not something an ordinary sect can compare to. 600 years ago, the Cloud Heavenly Palace sent disciples to a place called the Foolish Death Realm to carry out a mission. The Foolish Death Realm is a very special realm. It is like a barbarian land. The people inside are uncivilized, and the entire realm is filled with slaughter and blood. However, the disciple who came here to carry out the mission was accidentally killed by the people of the Foolish Death Realm, and died miserably in the Foolish Death Realm. Originally, the death of a sect because of a mission is not a big deal. Many sects have had such experiences, but the Cloud Heavenly Palace is different. This sect is extremely protective, and they have also found an excuse. An excuse. What excuse? It's an excuse to start a massacre. Hua Tianwu said. Sect leader, I have said it before, the way the people of Sword World cultivate is different from us. They use continuous battles and continuous challenges to directly obtain their cultivation, which is related to their unique profound qi, and because of this, the Sword World is the most unstable realm in the entire universe. But, as the biggest sword sect in the Sword World, they rarely fight, because he is very strong. The other people of Sword World intentionally avoid the people of Cloud Heavenly Palace, and do not dare to fight with them, and the more it is like this, the slower the cultivation of the people of Cloud Heavenly Palace, and the power of the sect is also declining day by day. Because of this, the Cloud Heavenly Palace must start a fight, or even a war, but the people of Sword World all deliberately avoided them, and they had no way to start, so they turned their attention to the outside, and this Foolish Death Realm became their battlefield. Because of this excuse, the Cloud Heavenly Palace could launch an attack in the name of revenge, and as a result, the Cloud Heavenly Palace launched a 450-year purge of the Foolish Death Realm. The current Foolish Death Realm was barren, and all living beings were killed. The entire realm has been completely purged, and this is the power of the Cloud Heavenly Palace. Speaking till here, the faces of the surrounding people became serious. It seemed like even the ordinary disciples of the Lotus Star Sword sect had heard of this shocking matter. Su Yun had just entered the ultimate martial realm, and had just entered the Wanhua realm, so he naturally did not know about this. I never thought that this sect would be able to wipe out an entire realm. Even Ling Qingyu couldn't help but sigh. A person who wantonly kills will only accumulate calamity. The more he kills, the more enemies he will have. If the Cloud Heavenly Palace continues like this, wouldn't he be courting his own destruction? Su Yun frowned. Sect leader is right. Hua Tianwu nodded his head. In fact, many sects in the Sword World perished because they made too many enemies and accumulated too many grudges, but this did not stop them from pursuing the way of the sword. The people of the Cloud Heavenly Palace had already realized this a long time ago, so they would use treasures, magic treasure, and even some despicable methods to alleviate or divert these grudges. Although the reputation of the Cloud Heavenly Palace is not considered good, but in the ultimate martial world, it is already not bad. How could a sect not consider this point? The amount of work they had to do behind the scenes was naturally enormous. So it's like that. Su Yun was silent for a moment, then asked. Cloud Heavenly Palace is so strong, I think that with the strength of the Lotus Star Sword sect, we will definitely not be able to contend against it. However, why did the people of the Cloud Heavenly Palace come here? It can't be that they are going against our Lotus Star Sword sect, right? It is said that the son of the All-Empty Sect's sect leader, Xiao Huailin, died tragically in the Wanhua realm, so the Cloud Heavenly Palace came to seek justice for him. The All-Empty Sect's sect leader's wife is the daughter of the 13th elder of the Cloud Heavenly Palace, Jean Maoyuo. The disciple said. So that's how it is, but everyone, you don't have to worry. Back then, the one who beat Xiao Huailin away was the tyrant of the Linglong Mountain. It has nothing to do with us. Furthermore, we didn't kill Xiao Huailin, did we? Su Yun knew what everyone was worried about, and immediately comforted them. Even so, this matter concerns the Wanhua realm. We cannot just sit back and do nothing. You're right, Tianwu. We should make some preparations as soon as possible. If we should fight, we should retreat, and if we should act according to the situation. Su Yun waved his hand and immediately walked into the sect. In any case, this matter had nothing to do with him. Although he did not know how Xiao Huailin died, he should not have died in his hands. Back then, the Lotus Star Sword art had broken his body, but he had relied on the mystical magic treasure to escape. Maybe the heavily injured him had met some greedy spirit cultivator, which was why he had died. Forget it, I should first repair the Lotus Star Sword. Su Yun thought, and led Ling Qingyu directly to the sword forging room of the Lotus Star Sword sect. Chapter 6:15. Outside the realm tree, there was a huge horizontal tree leaning against the hill. The horizontal tree was dozens of meters wide and nearly 1,000 meters long. It was incomparably vast, and its surface was covered in moss and mushrooms. In the center of the horizontal tree there was a large round hole. Inside the round hole stood 7 or 8 men and women dressed in green armor or green robes. The man and woman surrounded a spirit cultivator, and the spirit cultivator was currently activating his technique. With one hand on the horizontal tree and the other on his chest, he closed his eyes and chanted. His 2 hands glowed with a bright light. It was extremely magical, and with him as the center, layers of profound strength exploded out. The person who cast the spell was the new guard captain of the realm tree, Zhu Gu. Zhu Gu was fully focused, activating the profound strength. His face gradually paled, the sweat on his forehead also increased, the profound qi that leaked out from the surface gradually weakened, as though he was unable to hold on any longer. When the people at the side saw this, they immediately waved their palms and lightly patted his chest, imbuing the profound strength into him. Zhu Gu's face immediately brightened up. The lustrous green light in his hand became more and more vigorous, and sawtooth-like sawdust appeared on the wooden wall that was pressed against by his palm. These sawdust quickly arranged themselves, forming a star cycle diagram. It was extremely mysterious. When Zhu Gu saw this, he let go of his hand and stopped activating his qi. He stared at the Zhou Tian diagram with all his attention, as though he was carefully reading the mysteries on it. Giant, what is this? Realm Tree Minister Lu Yuan asked. This is an absolute art that evolved from the star scripture, created by the great sage of the ancient era. It is called the star technique. Using this star technique, we can easily calculate the person we are looking for, the person who killed Xiao Huailin. Zhu Gu laughed. So magical? Lord Lu frowned. Then isn't this the same as my realm tree forbidden technique? This is a profound technique that goes against the laws of nature. According to the rules of the realm tree, it must be forbidden. No, Lord Lu, you misunderstand. This technique is not a forbidden technique, nor is it as powerful as our realm tree forbidden technique. This star technique is just a type of calculation technique, and it requires a foundation and a medium, and I just happen to have a medium here. Zhu Gu quickly said, and then took out a fiery red cloth from the space bag. The cloth was still stained with blood, and the blood was glowing. It was obviously not ordinary flesh and blood. What is this? Everyone was puzzled. This is Xiao Huailin's clothes and blood. Zhu Gu laughed. Back then, when Xiao Huailin disturbed the Linglong Mountain, I was ordered by the Realm Lord to go to the Linglong Mountain to capture Xiao Huailin, but when I rushed to the Linglong Mountain, Xiao Huailin had already been chased away. In order to capture him, I specially went to the Black Hawk sect that had already turned into ruins and the Lotus Star Sword sect, and from the Lotus Star Sword sect, I found this. With that, Zhu Gu began to cast his spell. He raised a finger and quickly moved it on his chest. After that, he urged his qi to wrap around the fragment that was stained with blood. He squeezed it tightly and quickly rubbed it. The fragment was actually rubbed into a ball that glowed with a blue light. After that, he tossed it towards the stellar cycle diagram. The blue sphere of light gently floated towards the domain map. When it neared the map, it actually fused with it and slowly rotated within the star map. The scene was extremely mysterious, as if an immortal was casting a spell. The surrounding realm tree ministers were all surprised and emotional. Very quickly, the star map dimmed, and the expression of Zhu Gu, who was standing in front of the map, changed. He muttered something, as if he was activating something. After an unknown period of time. Suddenly, pow! Zhu Gu suddenly clapped his hands and laughed. I've found him! Everyone stared at him, and Lord Lu asked anxiously, Where? Zhu Gu wanted to say something, but suddenly, the star map flashed. Seeing that, Zhu Gu's face changed a few times, and said anxiously, Everyone, quickly follow me, that person is preparing to leave the Wanhua realm. With that, he took the lead and rushed out of the tree. When the rest saw this, how could they dare to stay? They all rushed forward. Several rays of green light pierced through the tree and into the clouds. Crash! Inside the sword forging room of the Lotus Star Sword sect, waves of multicolored light flickered. At this moment, Ling Qinyu was sitting cross-legged in front of the sword furnace, urging the profound qi to ignite the sword fire and smoke the sword furnace. Su Yun was arranging the materials at the side. Very quickly, all the materials needed to repair the Lotus Star Sword were prepared. Once the sword furnace was done preheating, the repair could begin. Looking at Ling Qinyu, who was sitting beside the sword furnace, Su Yun could not help but feel touched. The young girl's face was snow-white, and beads of sweat gently slid down her face like pearls. Her slightly red eyes were gently closed, and her long and slightly curved eyelashes were slowly trembling. Her rosy lips were slightly pursed, and it was very alluring. Su Yun's heart ached. He opened his mouth wanting to say something, but then he saw Ling Qinyu holding her fair and jade-like arms. Stopping, she sat down and opened her eyes that shone like the stars. Waves of heat rose from the sword furnace, and the silver-white sword furnace also turned scarlet-red, like a piece of red-hot iron. Su Yun, bring the materials over, I'll help you refine the sword. Ling Qinyu looked at the sword furnace, but extended her fair hand towards Su Yun. However, Ling Qinyu's hand that was hanging in the air did not receive the materials. In the next moment, a big hand held onto her sleeve and gently wiped the sweat off her forehead. Ling Qinyu's delicate body trembled. She turned to look at the owner of the sleeve. It was Su Yun. Su Yun was clumsily wiping her sweat. His expression was extremely focused, and there was even a trace of gentleness in his focus, making people feel that he was very cute. Ling Qinyu felt that it was funny, but at the same time, she felt that it was a little unnatural. Her cheeks were red, and she was a little flustered. Don't move, Su Yun said with concentration. Ling Qinyu was startled, only to see Su Yun gently fiddling with the few strands of messy black hair on her forehead. After wiping off the sweat, he stared at his own face seriously for a while, and then revealed an ugly smile. This kind of Qinyu is the most beautiful. Hearing that, Ling Qinyu looked at him in a daze. After a long while, her pink lips curled up and she burst out laughing. Su Yun, you look so silly now, ha ha. Are you stupid? Su Yun rubbed his nose. Haha, don't make me laugh, this is not like you at all, haha. Ling Qingyu laughed for a while, then stopped, and looked at Su Yun with a little more gentleness, just like how Su Yun was looking at Ling Qingyu at the moment. Su Yun walked over and threw all the materials into the sword furnace. Qingyu, you have rested well. I will do the matter of refining the sword. Why? I'm not tired. You're not tired, but I look tired. Why are you tired? My heart is tired. Su Yun turned his head and looked at Ling Qingyu. You have done too much for me, so I do not wish to see you do things silently for me anymore. I want to do all the things that I can do myself. Hearing that, Ling Qingyu was startled for a moment, then she placed her hands on the ground, her slender white thighs casually placed on the ground, she laughed. What do you mean by that? Do you feel ashamed of me? Omi? Didn't I tell you before? I'm only helping you to repay the kindness of the sword ancestor, so you don't have to feel guilty. Hearing that, Su Yun shook his head without hesitation. I'm not doing this because I'm worried that I owe you. Then what's the reason? Su Yun was silent for a moment, then raised his head and said, Didn't I say it before? If you really don't understand, then let's put it in another way. I feel sorry for you. Ling Qingyu immediately became silent. She was prepared to tease him a few more times, but realized that she could not laugh no matter what. After saying that, Su Yun turned his head and began to repair the Lotus Star Sword. Ling Qingyu looked at the broad and broad back in a daze, her fair and delicate face alternating between red and white, but in the end she lowered her head, her fair and slender fingers twisting the front of her snow-white clothes. No one knew what she was thinking. Su Yun naturally did not pay attention to Ling Qingyu's change. The current him had already placed all of his energy and attention into the sword furnace. When the Lotus Star Sword was thrown into the sword furnace, it was as if the sword furnace had been poured with boiling oil. Heat waves surged out, sword intent flew everywhere, and waves of light shot out from the mouth of the sword furnace like a fountain. Su Yun activated the profound qi, supporting the temperature of the sword furnace. Su Yun did not know how to refine swords, but the old sect leader had already taught him the method to repair it. According to the method given by the old sect leader, Su Yun proceeded carefully, not daring to be the slightest bit careless. Ling Qingyu, who was at the back, sat on the cushion, supporting her exquisite chin as she looked at Su Yun. Looking at the man's clumsy yet cautious appearance, she could not help but laugh. After an unknown period of time, the sword furnace started to shake violently, and the scarlet-red surface of the furnace iron also turned deathly white. This temperature seemed to be close to the temperature of the Tribulation Fire Sword. From the looks of it, the repairing materials that were thrown in were all extraordinary. He couldn't let it all go to waste. Su Yun clenched his teeth and continued to inject qi. The Lotus Star Sword was not an ordinary sword, so repairing it was not an easy task. However, Su Yun was currently at the third stage of the Sky Spirit Master. With a dense profound qi, it was not impossible for him to repair the Lotus Star Sword. The profound qi in the house rippled, the sword furnace shook more and more violently, and the temperature also became higher and higher. Ling Qingyu, who was still staring at Su Yun, could not help but turn her gaze to the top of the sword furnace, looking at the sword furnace that was shaking intensely, and the solemn expression of Su Yun, who was sweating profusely. After thinking for a while, she finally made up her mind, walked over with light steps, extended her hand and gently placed it on Su Yun's back. Although she had trained hard until now, she had only touched the edge of the Sky Spirit Master, and could not be compared to Su Yun at all, but this power was extremely important at this moment. Su Yun, who was completely focused on refining the sword, felt a cool and refreshing qi coming from behind him. He immediately regained his senses and turned his head to look, only to see Ling Qingyu's delicate and pretty face. Don't look back, focus on practicing the sword. Ling Qingyu did not dare to look him in the eye. She immediately closed her eyes and said softly. Chapter 6:16. 100 flowers, 1,000 tree sec. In a place where countless flowers were blooming, there was a natural gate formed by a towering tree. This door was not deliberately carved by a person, nor was there a formation. It was a purely natural gate, completely natural. This was the symbol of the Wanhua realm, and it was also the door to the Wanhua realm. No matter who it was, they had to pass through this door to enter and exit the Wanhua realm. There were spirit beasts guarding the door, and there was more than one spirit beast. 2 human-shaped trees that were about 30 meters tall gently moved in front of the gate. Every time they moved, they would emit a strange creaking sound, and on top of these 2 trees, there were hundreds of birds. These birds were colorful and beautiful, small like sparrows and large like phoenixes. Other than the trees and birds, there were also a large number of spirit beasts. There was a green tiger that was completely green, an earth elephant that was as big as a hill, and a coiling spirit python that was over 100 meters long. And in front of the 100 beast spirit dance, there were a large number of Wanhua realm guards. There were more than 1,000 of them, and every one of them had an incomparably powerful aura. All of them were at least at the first stage of the Sky Spirit Master, and were extremely terrifying. And far away from this magical natural gate, there was a peach forest. Unknowingly, a fox demon with a huge white tail and a cute and charming appearance had appeared from within the peach forest. The fox demon's 2 small white hands clung to the peach tree and quietly looked at the nature's gate in the distance. After quietly looking for the time it took for an incense stick to burn, her big black eyes rolled around and she quickly ran toward the gate while wagging her tail. Halt! When they saw the fox demon walking towards the door, the commander of the Realm Tree soldiers immediately walked over and shouted, "Who are you? What do you do?" "Me." The fox demon pointed at her nose and laughed. "I am a rogue cultivator, hee. I want to leave the Wanhua realm." "Rogue cultivator?" The officer glanced at the fox demon and said indifferently, "Realm Master has ordered that no one is allowed to leave the Wanhua realm during this period of time. The natural gate is also temporarily sealed. No one is allowed to enter or exit." "Why?" The fox demon was startled. "Don't ask too much, leave quickly, otherwise we will capture you and escort you to the Realm Tree," the officer shouted. His expression was extremely serious. He did not seem to be joking. After hearing this, the fox demon knew that it was impossible to go out. She stroked her delicate chin and thought for a moment. Her eyes secretly glanced at the token hanging on the waist of the officer. She giggled and ignored the stupid soldiers. She directly turned around and ran towards the peach forest. After entering the peach blossom forest, the fox demon rummaged through a white interspatial bag hanging on his waist. Soon, he took out a sparkling and translucent gem and began fiddling with it. A moment later, a tall and handsome man walked out of the peach forest. The man's expression was solemn, and he had his hands behind his back. He was dressed in a green robe and had a treasured sword at his waist. There was an ancient tree pattern on his chest, and both his hair and eyebrows were dark green in color. He walked over step by step, neither fast nor slow, giving people a feeling that he was as steady as Mount Tai. Before the officer could return to his troops, he saw someone else approaching. His face tightened and he walked up with a stern expression. "Stop! Nature's gate has been sealed. No one is allowed to enter or exit. No one is allowed to approach. Leave quickly." "How dare you?" Just as the officer finished speaking, the handsome man immediately shouted angrily and said coldly, "How dare you be so rude when you see me? How dare you? Do you know who I am?" With that said, the soldiers were all shocked as they looked at the man in astonishment. However, when they saw this person's face, everyone looked at each other in dismay. They realized that no one recognized this fellow. "Sir?" The officer was stunned. He looked at the man carefully and asked doubtfully, "Who are you? You don't even know me?" When the man heard that, he became extremely angry. "You trash actually don't even know who this lord is. Humph, hurry up and get your officer out." Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson. Sir? The officer looked at the man suspiciously and said indifferently, I am the officer here. You? Who is in charge of you? Imperial Guard Captain, Lord Zhu. The officer proudly snorted. Unexpectedly, just as he finished speaking, the man slapped him. His movements were fast and ruthless, and in an instant, it landed on the officer's face. Pow! When he regained his senses, his face was burning hot, and it was extremely painful. He felt that although this slap did not use profound strength, it had broken through his protective profound chi, and directly smashed onto his face, making him feel extremely uncomfortable. You! The officer was stunned, his mind was in a daze. The soldiers were even more surprised, but no one dared to move. The officer was naturally enraged. Looking at this strange fellow, he was about to flare up, but before he could move, he heard this person shout angrily, So it's little Jia's subordinate. Your Lord Zhu has to be courteous when he sees me. Who are you? Quickly scram. I am under the orders of the Realm Lord to immediately head to the ultimate martial world to seek reinforcements. All of you quickly open the gate of nature for me, otherwise, can you afford to delay the Realm Lord's matters? The order of the Realm Lord? When the officer heard this, he did not dare to argue with this fellow about slapping him in the face, and said in shock, Nonsense. The man took off the order badge from his waist and shouted, This is the order badge bestowed by the Realm Lord, it is the same as the Divine Leaf. Anyone who sees this order badge is equivalent to seeing the Realm Lord. He shook the order badge for a moment, then put it away. In a trance, the officer felt that the order badge was somewhat familiar, but he could not see it clearly. The man shouted angrily, What are you all still standing there for? Why aren't you opening the gate of nature? The people from Sword World are about to arrive. If we do not quickly request for reinforcements, Wanhua Realm will be in danger. If we delay the important matters, all of you will be the sinners of Wanhua Realm. As the sound of his voice faded, it truly shocked the guards of the gate of nature. How could they bear the responsibility of being a sinner of the Wanhua Realm? Although the officer still had doubts in his heart, he did not persist. No matter who this person was, letting him leave the Wanhua Realm would not cause any harm to the Wanhua Realm, right? After weighing the pros and cons, he decided not to take the risk. He cupped his fists and said, Since that's the case, please wait a moment, sir. After we report this matter to Lord Zhu, we will immediately open the door for you. What? And report to Zhu? The man flew into a rage, and was about to slap him again, scaring the officer into retreating. This matter is extremely urgent. Every second delayed means one more second of danger for the Wanhua Realm. Zhu already knows about this matter. If you continue to delay this lord's time, at that time, this lord will personally report you to the Realm Master, and punish you for your crimes. The officer was in a dilemma. However, looking at the angry expression on the face of the person in front of him, his eyes filled with urgency and dignity, his heart was finally filled with fear. After hesitating for a moment, the officer gritted his teeth and made a decision. He turned around and waved to the soldiers behind him. Disperse, let the Lord enter the gate of nature. Yes, sir. The soldiers shouted in unison, and then dispersed, opening up a path for the Lord to pass through. The gate of nature did not have any enchantments, nor did they have any imprints. They were always open and could be entered and exited at any time. Of course, they had to have the permission of the Realm Tree Guard. The corner of the man's mouth raised slightly. With his hands behind his back, he swaggered towards the gate of nature. Just as the man leaped past the officer suddenly froze, and his eyes shifted to the man's back. Behind this person, there was a huge snow-white tail, and it seemed to be a fox's tail? Sir, wait! The officer felt that something was wrong and hurriedly shouted. Hearing that, the man did not hesitate at all. With a turn of his feet, he removed his disguise and rushed towards the gate of nature like a gust of wind. Ah, it's a fake! The officer was immediately shocked. This is the gate of nature. The chi of nature is extremely strong. The chi can purify everything in the world. No profound technique can disguise it. If you approach this place, your true form will be revealed. This person is not someone from the realm tree. Quickly capture her. The officer suddenly realized and roared in anger. Don't go. The soldiers immediately burst into an uproar as they rushed towards that person. That person was no longer a handsome man who was 7 feet tall, but a young girl with furry fox ears. The young girl turned her head and looked at the group of exasperated soldiers behind her. She immediately laughed out loud and stuck out her pink tongue in ridicule. You bunch of idiots, haha, you've been fooled by me, haven't you? Ha ha ha. With that, she increased her speed and charged towards the incomparably huge gate of nature. However, when the fox was about to approach the gate of nature, a green light suddenly shot out from the sky, directly attacking the gate of nature. When it crashed into the gate of nature, the green light exploded with a "pa" sound, transforming into a huge net that covered the sky, completely sealing the door. What? Fox Demon's face changed. Before she could even react, she crashed into the net and was sent flying back. Ouch! She sat on the ground and cried out in pain. When she turned her head to look behind her, she saw that a large number of soldiers had already surrounded her. Damn it, who plotted against me? Fox Demon suddenly crawled up from the ground, pulled out the scimitar from her waist and shouted. Cunning fox, how dare you be so arrogant? Take him down. The officer scolded. A group of people pulled out their swords and sabers and rushed forward. But in the next second, the fox slashed forward with her blade. The blood-red curved blade released a profound strength that was like a wave, and actually smashed all the first-stage sky spirit master existences in front of her into a complete mess. Such power! The officer was stunned. In the end, you are someone who can kill Xiao Huailin. Your strength is indeed not ordinary, but today you should just surrender. A shout floated over from the horizon. Then, several green figures could be seen charging in this direction. The officer and the rest saw that it was a realm tree expert, and the person in the lead was Zhu Gu. Chapter 6:17. It's Lord Zhu Gu. The officer was overjoyed. This time, the soldiers could not surround her. Seeing Zhu Gu and the rest of the realm tree experts rushing over, they knew that the fox spirit would not be able to escape. Zhu Gu and the rest flew over and landed in front of the soldiers. Everyone surrounded the fox demon in an arc shape, and not even a drop of water could leak out. There were a total of 8 people on Zhu Gu's side. All of their auras were extremely dense, and were definitely not something the soldiers could compare to. Seeing Zhu Gu and the rest arrive, the fox demon was startled, and then the corner of her mouth curled up. I don't think you guys came here by chance. What, are you here to capture me? The fox demon laughed. It's good that you know, Zhu Gu said indifferently. Fortunately we came in time, otherwise we would have let you go. If you leave, our Wanhua realm will not be at peace. Hearing that, Hu Qianmei's face changed. What do you mean by that? What is it? You still don't understand? You killed Xiao Huailin, and this time, the all-empty sect came out in full force. Their goal is also for you. As long as you are in the hands of the all-empty sect, I believe that our Wanhua realm will be able to live in peace and enjoy eternal peace. Zhu Gu said. When the fox demon heard this, her smile disappeared and anger surfaced. You guys actually plan to hand me over to all-empty sect? TCH. You bunch of ignorant fellows, if I did not kill Xiao Huailin, who knows how many people would have died, you guys actually want to repay kindness with enmity. Repay kindness with enmity? Do you know how much trouble you have caused for our Wanhua realm? Now, as long as we sacrifice you, we can protect our entire realm. Although I know that you killed Xiao Huailin out of good intentions, but since you are thinking for the Wanhua realm, why don't you think for the Wanhua realm? Lord Lu said expressionlessly. Hearing that, the fox demon was truly enraged. I was blind, that's why I helped your Wanhua realm get rid of the evil. I never thought that you people were actually a group of sanctimonious people. How shameless! Your realm lord is the same. Back then, he said that he would respect my choice, but now he actually told you to come and capture me. Humph, so it was just a lie. I've seen through you all. Fox Demon was so angry that her teeth itched. She knew that these people were going to hand her over, and her hatred for them was already overflowing. There's no point in talking anymore, Ju Gu said. We should capture her as soon as possible and subdue her. If we let this guy escape, it would be a waste of effort. Not bad. Lady Lu let out a low roar and actually made the first move. She quickly flipped her hands, took out a tree branch, and directly chopped at the fox demon. When the tree branch was about to fall, she saw a large amount of energy bursting out from the tree branch. The energy turned into vines and instantly wrapped around her body. However, the fox demon was not flustered at all. She flipped her palm and summoned something. A ring of mysterious golden light appeared from her body. The golden light was overbearing and ferocious. It instantly shattered the vines and landed on Lord Lu. Lord Lu was caught off guard, and was blasted over 10 meters away before crashing onto the ground and spitting out a mouthful of blood. His profound energy shook incessantly. What? Ju Gu was stunned. This person is only around the 3rd stage of the Sky Spirit Master. Lord Lu is at least at the 5th stage of the Sky Spirit Master. How could she injure Lord Lu? I'm afraid this person has a magical treasure. Everyone, be careful. Someone cried out in alarm. After everyone heard this, they all took out their treasures and stared at the fox demon with a serious expression. After the fox demon succeeded, she was not in a hurry to chase after him. Instead, she started to chant some sort of incantation. The profound chi around her body was like a whirlwind, revolving crazily around her, and spinning faster and faster, her aura becoming stronger and stronger, as though she was activating some sort of powerful technique. Stop her from casting! Ju Gu roared. Everyone attacked at the same time, attacking the fox demon. But, just as everyone moved, the fox demon's pink lips curled up, revealing a sly smile, as though she had succeeded in something. She suddenly put down her hands, the profound chi around her body disappeared without a trace, and at the same time, an incomparably intense golden light erupted from her body. The golden light was incomparably resplendent, like a blazing sun. It was so dazzling that it was hard for people to open their eyes. All the realm tree experts stopped in their tracks. They turned their heads and were forced to retreat by the golden light. When the golden light dissipated, everyone looked over, only to realize that the fox demon was nowhere to be seen. Not good, she ran away. She's there. Chase. The cries continued. Bang. A muffled sound came out from the sword forging room. Following that, the extremely hot sword furnace suddenly exploded, the heat wave spreading out, directly flipping over the 2 people beside the sword furnace. Su Yun had already used up all his profound chi. It was difficult for him to resist. His entire body was sent flying, but he did not land on the ground. Instead, he leaned on a soft and delicate body. It was Ling Qingyu. She hugged Su Yun's waist with both hands, activated the profound chi, and caught him. Although Ling Qingyu had also used up a lot of profound chi, it was still more than enough to catch this guy. But Su Yun shamelessly leaned his head on Ling Qingyu's shoulder, gasping for breath. Ling Qingyu frowned. She pushed him to the corner of the wall and snorted. You're not dead yet, right? Soon. Su Yun revealed a weak smile. Glib tongue. Ling Qingyu snorted. Su Yun did not reply. He looked at the sword furnace, only to see that it had already shattered, but at the place where the sword furnace had shattered, floated an incomparably white longsword. The longsword was lustrous, shining with light. It was incomparably mystical, and on the body of the longsword, there was a golden-edged white lotus, waves after waves of mysterious spirit energy overflowing from the lotus. Is this the repaired Lotus Star Sword? Ling Qingyu looked at the sword, lost in thought. That's right, the repaired Lotus Star Sword is the complete Lotus Star Sword. With this sword, the third form of the Lotus Star Sword art can be completely released. Su Yun grinned. He stood up to retrieve the sword, but just as he stood up, his footsteps became crooked, as though he did not manage to catch a breath, and his entire body uncontrollably fell towards Ling Qingyu. Ling Qingyu did not have the time to react. When she turned to look at Su Yun, she saw that Su Yun had already pounced over. She subconsciously extended her hand out, wanting to stop Su Yun, but in the next second, his entire head was buried into Ling Qingyu's snow-white chest. Ling Qingyu was stunned. He only felt that the softness in his chest was being ruthlessly squeezed, and the hot breath was like a needle, continuously stimulating that sensitive place. This strange feeling caused Ling Qingyu's entire body to suddenly lose all strength. Her heart was beating wildly, and her breathing almost stopped. She was pressed down by Su Yun's inertia, and the two of them fell to the ground. Su Yun was startled. He looked at Ling Qingyu, only to see her eyes wide open, staring at him blankly, her tender little mouth slightly opened. Her expression seemed to have frozen. Seeing that, Su Yun suddenly woke up. He anxiously crawled up and laughed. At this moment, he did not know where he got the strength from, but he stood up like lightning. He did not feel any sense of powerlessness from using up the profound qi. Seeing that, Ling Qingyu was shocked and angry. She stood up and pushed Su Yun away, her white cheeks puffed up, and said angrily, "You bastard, did you do it on purpose? How could that be? I really tried my best just now." Sorry, Qingyu, this was completely an accident," Su Yun immediately said. "You? Humph." Ling Qingyu wanted to scold him a few times, but looking at his strange smile, she could not say anything. She could only sulk and ignore him. She turned her head and quickly walked towards the sword sheath, and when she got close to the sword sheath, she flew in and disappeared without a trace. Seeing that, Su Yun immediately shouted, "Qingyu, didn't you want to teach me the Burning Heaven sword formation? Qingyu, don't go." However, there was no movement from the sword sheath. Such a bad temper. That was really an accident. Su Yun rubbed his nose, and then, he couldn't help but rub his face, and chuckled. But at this moment, another burst of light shot out from the sword sheath. Ling Qingyu, who had just entered, flew out again. Seeing that, Su Yun laughed. "Qingyu, you're not angry anymore?" Ling Qingyu took in 2 deep breaths and suddenly revealed a strange smile. "I'm not angry anymore. Su Yun, you just said that you wanted me to teach you the Burning Heaven sword formation, right? Since the Lotus Star Sword has already been refined, then I will teach you." Ling Qingyu rarely smiled. Seeing her smile, Su Yun could not help but shiver. He felt a chill run down his spine, and immediately said, "About that, I have exhausted all of my profound qi today. It's not suitable for me to cultivate. Another day. Another day. Another day? That won't do, I said today, it's today." Hearing that, Su Yun knew that he would not be able to escape this calamity. He could only put on a thick face and say, "Then at least let me recover my profound qi first, right? I'll help you recover." Ling Qingyu knew that Su Yun was stalling for time. He snorted and said, then walked over and let Su Yun sit down. Under Ling Qingyu's swift and fierce attack, Su Yun had no choice but to obediently recover with his qi. With the help of the high-quality pills from the treasure vault, coupled with Ling Qingyu's cooperation, Su Yun's recovery speed was not bad. However, what made Su Yun disappointed was that among the large number of pills he obtained from the nameless prison, there were no rare pills that could increase his cultivation. Sect Leader. Just as Su Yun and Ling Qingyu were still in the room, Hua Tianwu's voice suddenly came from outside. Sect Leader Tianwu requests an audience. Su Yun, who was in the midst of qi, opened his eyes, and was a little surprised. Ling Qingyu was not angry at this time. She removed the profound qi and pushed Su Yun away. Su Yun also understood what she meant. He chuckled, then stood up and opened the door. The sword furnace exploded, the room was filled with smoke. Hua Tianwu could not see clearly, but when he saw Su Yun walking out with a beautiful lady in the room, Hua Tianwu blinked his eyes, revealing a look of understanding. He immediately cupped his fists and bowed. Sect leader, please forgive me, this subordinate did not know that you were dual cultivating. What did you say? Hearing that, Ling Qingyu's face changed drastically. Hua Tianwu was startled. Su Yun hurriedly coughed but did not explain and directly asked, Tianwu, what's the matter? Only then did Hua Tianwu regain his senses and said respectfully, the Realm Tree has sent an urgent message, requesting for the Linglong Mountain to be completely sealed. All sects are guarding the main roads, and no one is allowed to enter or leave. My Lotus Star Sword sect must also seal off the 7 paths leading up and down the mountain. Tianwu does not dare to make a decision, so I have to report to you, sect leader. Seal the mountain? Su Yun frowned slightly. Did something happen? It is said that the people of Realm Tree are chasing after a criminal, but this criminal is a cunning person, hiding all the way, and from the looks of it, the criminal's target seems to be the Linglong Mountain. If Tianwu's guess is correct, this criminal is planning to enter our Linglong Mountain's dark place, and escape from the Wanhua realm through the door of disorder. Chapter 6:18. So that's how it is. Su Yun nodded his head. Since that's the case, then send people to make arrangements, seal off all the mountain paths, and forbid anyone from entering or leaving. However, if the criminal really does walk the few paths that our Lotus Star Sword sect is in charge of, you have to instruct the disciples. If you can't beat him, then let him leave. Do not sacrifice yourself for nothing, do you understand? Hua Tianwu did not understand the meaning of Su Yun's words, but he had always respected Su Yun, and did not dare to question him. He cupped his fists and said, Yes, sect leader. With that, Hua Tianwu left. After Hua Tianwu left, Su Yun continued to go back to his house. However, Ling Qingyu's expression became even more furious, and the coldness in his eyes became even colder. If Hua Tianwu came to report the news, then so be it. He even added oil to the fire. Su Yun knew that the next few days would not be easy. After recovering his qi, he was pulled by Ling Qingyu to the training field of the Lotus Star Sword sect, and began his arduous training. At this moment, at the Realm Tree, a large number of troops were gathering outside the Realm Tree. The scattered troops around the Wanhua realm received the orders of the Realm Master, and all returned. In just a few days, close to 100,000 Realm Tree soldiers had already gathered outside the Realm Tree. At a glance, the dark green armor gave off an extremely shocking feeling, and what was even more shocking was that all of these soldiers had a cultivation of the first stage of the Sky Spirit Master. A green-robed Realm Master stood on a tall branch, looking down at the army, her eyes extremely calm. Rong Myuk and the rest followed behind. They only saw Rong Myuk holding onto a green leaf. Looking at the words on the green leaf that were glowing, he muttered something, as though he was reporting something to the Realm Master. These are all the soldiers in our Wanhua realm who are at the first stage of the Sky Spirit Master and above. According to your orders, we did not summon any cultivators below the first stage. Rong Myuk said, If we do not get along well with the people of all empty sect, something will definitely happen. For a battle of this level, anyone below the first stage of the Sky Spirit Master will only die for nothing. The Realm Master said indifferently. That's right. Rong Myuk nodded his head. He swept his gaze across the densely packed people. His heart calmed down a little, and laughed. With so many Sky Spirit Master experts, I'm afraid no realm can casually gather so many existences. This is all thanks to my Wanhua realm's outstanding people, rich in resources and more suitable for nurturing experts. Although this was a bit exaggerated, it was also the truth. How could an ordinary realm gather close to 100,000 Sky Spirit Master existences? Only a world as vast as the ultimate martial world would be possible. But it is precisely because my Wanhua realm is rich in resources that I was spied on by the people of other realms. Realm Master, actually, this humble subject is still a little worried. A middle-aged man with a crew cut said. His name was Yang Lang, and he was in charge of setting up the spirit formation seal of the realm tree. What is Lord Yang worried about? Realm Master turned her head and asked softly. Yang Lang cupped his fists and bowed and said, This lowly subject is worried. The purpose of the people from Cloud Heavenly Palace this time is not only to stand up for all empty sect, but also to plot against my Wanhua realm. Do you think they want to use this as an excuse to attack my Wanhua realm? The Realm Master said indifferently. That's right. Yang Lang nodded. When the surrounding people heard this, their expressions became solemn. They felt that the possibility of this happening was not small. Realm Master turned her gaze, looked down at the ocean-like army, and said indifferently, Actually, Master Yang, your worries are right, and this is not a worry, but a fact. The reason why Cloud Heavenly Palace is here this time is to cause trouble and create an excuse for them. Why does Realm Master say that? Because the living beings of the Vain Death realm have already been slaughtered by the Cloud Heavenly Palace, and if the Cloud Heavenly Palace needs to develop, they must start a war. The profound chi that the people of Sword World cultivate is not the swift wind spirit chi, but a very special fighting spirit chi. Although my Wanhua realm is not some great realm with outstanding strength, but all these years, we have always advocated peace, treated people sincerely, and have never let anyone down. We are also famous in the Myriad Heavens realm. If the Cloud Heavenly Palace were to start a war with us for no reason, we would definitely be opposed by the other realms, and when the time comes, the Cloud Heavenly Palace would only suffer the consequences of their own actions. Rong Myuk said. Hearing that, the Realm Master shook her head again. As long as they have an excuse, they can make their move. It is perfectly justifiable. How could others dare to interfere? Furthermore, the other realms were not a threat to them. They are not afraid of war. Hearing that, Rong Myuk opened his mouth. This matter is definitely not simple. Furthermore, even if we hand over the person who killed Xiao Huailin to the all-empty sect, they will definitely not let us go so easily, so I refuse to hand that person over. At the same time, I gathered the power of the Wanhua realm, and prepared to fight against the other sects and the Cloud Heavenly Palace. The Realm Master said indifferently. When everyone heard this, they understood the logic behind it and nodded. It had to be said that the Realm Master's eyes were much more brilliant than theirs. Report. Just then, a shout came from afar. Following that, a soldier dressed in green rattan armor flew over, knelt on one knee in front of the Realm Master, and shouted. Reporting to Realm Master, Lord Zhu Gu and Lord Lu Yuan are currently heading towards the Linglong Mountain, and have issued a mountain sealing order. Mountain sealing order? Rong Myuk and the rest were startled. What are Zhu Gu, Lu Yuan, and the rest doing? This subordinate does not know. The soldier shook his head. When this subordinate received the news from the Linglong Mountain, he immediately rushed over to report. With the mountain sealing order, the Linglong Mountain was completely isolated from the outside world, causing a large number of spirit cultivators to complain. The Linglong Mountain is extremely special. There are many people from other realms mixed in. If we offend these people, it will not be a good thing for my Wanhua realm. Rong Myuk said. But what exactly is Lord Zhu Gu going to do? Why did he seal the Linglong Mountain for no reason? Who knows? Logically speaking, he should have rushed here immediately, mobilized his troops, and set up defenses at the Gate of Nature. We must immediately recall Lord Zhu Gu. At such a critical juncture, we cannot let him cause any more trouble. Yes. The ministers discussed animatedly. The Realm Master lowered her head and thought for a moment, then said indifferently, Prime Minister Rong, what orders does the Realm Master have? Quickly head to the Linglong Mountain and summon Zhu Gu, Lu Yuan and the others back. Tell them to give up on their pursuit of that person. She cannot stop this storm for us. The pursuit of that person? Could it be that Lord Zhu Gu and the others are going to capture the person who killed Xiao Huailin? That's right. The Realm Master said indifferently. But we have to respect the wishes of others. Furthermore, she is not strong enough to block all empty sect and cloud heavenly palace for us. Capturing her back is useless." Hearing that, Rong-Muk bit his lower lip, then cupped his fists and said, "Yes, Realm Master, this humble subject will go and recall Ju Gu now." The Realm Master nodded and looked down again. Countless Realm Tree soldiers were still gathering. Bang! Inside the Lotus Star Sword Sect's martial field, a muffled sound came out. Following that, a wave of heat sent a pitch-black and miserable figure flying. The figure flipped in the air, staggered after landing, and finally fell to the ground on his butt. Looking at it, it was Su Yun. At the moment, his face was covered in dirt, his entire body was red and black, and he was in a sorry state. In front of him, a young lady dressed in white was holding onto a fiery red sword, glaring at him angrily. The young lady's entire body was covered in flames. It was extremely terrifying. The temperature in the air was so high that it could melt steel. If not for the support of his cultivation, Su Yun would have been roasted to death long ago. Did you see it clearly? Su Yun, this is the fourth sword of the Burning Heaven sword formation, the sword of sun and moon. Did you not see it clearly? If you didn't see it clearly, I'll show it to you again. Ling Qingyu shouted. Look clearly, look clearly. I saw it all clearly, don't demonstrate. Su Yun anxiously crawled up and shouted. All right then. Ling Qingyu nodded his head. Since that's the case, then use the sword of sun and moon that you just learned to spar with me. Let me see how much you have learned. Su Yun was startled. If he really wanted to spar with her, wouldn't he be played to death by her? This woman was really petty. Wasn't she just taking advantage of a little oil? She was actually angry. Su Yun was helpless, looking at Ling Qingyu's clear eyes that flashed with complacency. A little anger surfaced in his heart. This girl was so overbearing and arrogant. His eyes darted around. He thought for a moment, then held onto the Tribulation Fire Sword and shouted. All right, since Qingyu has already said so, then be careful. I'm going to activate the sword formation. Come on. Ling Qingyu held onto the fiery red sword and shouted in a serious tone. Su Yun held onto the Tribulation Fire Sword and quickly rushed towards Ling Qingyu. When he got close to her, he released the Tribulation Fire Sword and quickly moved his hands, forming the fourth sword technique of the Burning Heaven sword formation, Sword of Sun and Moon. The profound chi split into two and rushed towards his left and right hands, the yang left and the yin right, the sun left and the moon right. The sword intent rippled and the sword chi flew horizontally. The Tribulation Fire Sword that was dancing in the air released a wave of heat and quickly transformed into two sword images. The fourth sword could be unleashed with only one sword strike. The essence of this move lay in its momentum and intent. The sword image appeared and transformed into the shape of the sun and moon. It flew around the Tribulation Fire Sword disc and quickly rushed towards Ling Qingyu. The entire training room began to shake. The scorching temperature and fiery red sword light filled the entire training ground, as if it wanted to roast the entire place. However, this attack that was as powerful as a rainbow did not pose the slightest threat to Ling Qingyu. She only snorted lightly, clasped the sword in her hand, and also used the Sword of Sun and Moon. Just based on cultivation, Ling Qingyu was definitely not Su Yun's match. However, just based on this move, Su Yun was definitely not Ling Qingyu's match. The two swords that were surrounded by the light of the sun and moon clashed together. The Tribulation Fire Sword was directly sent flying, and the heat wave on its surface was completely devoured by the opponent. Ling Qingyu's sword was like a hot knife through butter, striking the Tribulation Fire Sword and directly attacking Su Yun. Chapter 619. In the end, Ling Qingyu was still a sword expert. She was already familiar with the Burning Heaven sword formation. Su Yun had only just come into contact with this sword, and had only learned a little. How could he be her match? Seeing the power of the sword, Su Yun was a little angry. This woman did not hold back at all. Could it be that she was still angry? He felt a little stuffy in his heart. Previously, he had given in to Ling Qingyu in all aspects, and felt that it was enough, but this woman was insatiable, and was overbearing. Su Yun immediately raised his hand and released a wisp of profound qi, striking the sharp sword. With his third stage of sky spirit master cultivation, the profound qi immediately broke the sharp sword. Ling Qingyu was shocked, and then her expression became sullen. Su Yun, what are you doing? You didn't learn this sword formation properly, and actually used a profound technique to break it? What the hell are you thinking? I should be the one asking you that, right? Are you teaching me how to learn sword formations? I think you want to kill me, right? Su Yun shrugged his shoulders. Damn it, I want you to learn well, so you have to learn well. How can an ordinary person have the honor of letting me teach him sword formations? Ling Qingyu said angrily. She took out the sharp sword that was placed at the side of the cultivation room, and once again activated Sword of Sun and Moon towards Su Yun. The power was still as sharp as ever, as though it wanted to kill Su Yun. Seeing that, Su Yun activated the profound qi again, but Ling Qingyu persevered, as though she would not be satisfied until she beat Su Yun to the ground. Seeing that Su Yun was truly angry, he suddenly disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was already behind Ling Qingyu. Ling Qingyu's body trembled. She suddenly turned her head, only to see Su Yun looking down at her. His black and red face was filled with seriousness. She anxiously retreated, wanting to attack again. But in the next second, Su Yun extended his hand out, grabbed her wrist from left and right, and pressed her against the pillar at the side. Woman, are you done yet? Su Yun stared at Ling Qingyu and roared. You? Let me go, what are you doing? Let me go. Ling Qingyu screamed. She continued to struggle, but regardless of strength or cultivation, she was no longer Su Yun's opponent. How could she struggle free? I already said it was an accident. I didn't do it on purpose. Do you still need to be so angry? It's not like you'll lose a piece of flesh if I touch your chest. Hearing Su Yun say it out loud, Ling Qingyu did not expect it. She was stunned for a moment, her face flushed red, embarrassed and angry. You are shameless! Ling Qingyu suddenly raised her right leg and kicked towards Su Yun's crotch. This kick was powerful. She had even used the profound qi. If it were to hit the mountain, it would probably cause a crack to appear on the mountain. If she were to let this attack hit, the consequences would be unimaginable. Su Yun broke out in cold sweat. He anxiously closed his legs and clamped Ling Qinyu's leg. Ling Qinyu's fair thighs were immediately immobilized, and she was only a few inches away from Su Yun's lower body. Su Yun's robe was fluttering from the profound qi on his legs. He felt a chill on his lower body, and almost got hit. That was close. His face was pale, and his back was drenched in sweat. Looking at the woman again, she was still unwilling to give up and was still struggling with all her might. Enough. Stop it right now. Su Yun was furious and bellowed. Bastard, you took advantage of me, and you're just going to let it go? When did you become like a secular woman, being so calculative? Have all your years of cultivation been eaten by dogs? It has nothing to do with you. Anyway, you took advantage of me, so you have to pay the price. What do you want? Kill you. You! Su Yun was shocked and angry, looking at Ling Qinyu's angry face. His gaze uncontrollably shifted to her perky chest, and immediately sneered. All right, Qinyu, since you want to kill me, why don't you let me enjoy it? With that said, Su Yun immediately lowered his head and buried it into the soft and smooth ground. Ling Qingyu was completely stunned. She opened her eyes wide, looking at the head that was fiercely shaking on her chest. Her entire body seemed to have been petrified. I didn't mean it just now. If I let you kill me just like that, then I would be too wronged. Now that I did it on purpose, if you want to kill me, then kill me. At least I won't die unjustly. Su Yun took 2 deep breaths, let go of Ling Qinyu's hand, and snorted. However, Ling Qinyu was not angry, nor was she resentful. She looked at Su Yun in a daze, as if she was broken. After an unknown period of time, she suddenly regained her senses. She lowered her eyes, pursed her lips, and turned her face slightly. Tears flickered in her eyes, and her cheeks were bright red. Seeing that, Su Yun felt that his burning hot brain had calmed down. It seemed that he had gone overboard. Although Ling Qingyu had a bad temper, she was just messing around, and did not really want to kill him. Her cultivation was not ordinary, but she was still a woman. How could she tolerate other men being so frivolous? About that Qingyu. Just as Su Yun was about to speak, he saw Ling Qingyu suddenly turn around, transforming into a ray of white light and entering the sword sheath. Qingyu! Su Yun shouted anxiously, but Ling Qingyu was completely motionless. It seemed like she was really angry this time. Seeing that, Su Yun felt helpless. A woman's thoughts were really hard to understand. Sect leader. Just then, a series of shouts came from outside the cultivation room. Following that, Hua Tianwu ran over, shouting loudly, "Sect leader, something bad has happened! Sect leader!" Hearing that, Su Yun anxiously opened the door, looked at Hua Tianwu who was running over, and asked, "What happened?" Hua Tianwu anxiously cupped his fists and shouted, "Sect leader, something happened in the southern mountain." Southern mountain? Su Yun frowned. "The few roads that our sword sect is in charge of sealing." "That's right. It seems like the criminal that the Realm Tree and the others are chasing is heading towards the south of the mountain. That person plans to barge in and injure many of our disciples. Right now, he is passing through the southern mountain road. I have already arranged for the experts of the sect to intercept him, but that person's cultivation is high. I am afraid he will not be easy to deal with." Hearing that, Su Yun thought for a moment, then said softly, "Let's go, follow me over, instruct the disciples to quickly leave. Do not sacrifice yourselves for nothing. Let the experts of our sect try their best to delay that person, if we do not hold on, and let that person barge into the Linglong Mountain. I am afraid that the Realm Tree and the various sects of the Linglong Mountain will use our Lotus Star Sword sect to punish us." With that said, Su Yun took out the Tribulation Fire Sword, stepped on the sword and flew into the sky, with Hua Tianwu following closely behind. The Lotus Star Sword sect was located at the edge of the Linglong Mountain, and the area south of the mountain was not far from the main location of the sect. It was precisely because it was close to the Lotus Star Sword sect that it was entrusted with the task of sealing off the area. When Su Yun approached the southern region of the mountain anxiously, he felt his heart beating wildly for no reason. For some reason, a strange feeling rippled in his heart. What was going on? Su Yun was puzzled. When they got close to the south side of the mountain, they could see the figures of a few disciples floating in the air. They held on to their swords and continuously released sword chi downwards, and below them, there were also continuous explosions. Thick smoke billowed, and the ground was smashed into pieces. Some of the disciples were lying on the side of the road, unconscious. Even more people were gathered in the thick smoke, as if they were fighting with someone. Roar! A dignified and oppressive roar erupted from the thick smoke. Following that, a golden light appeared. A circle of sound waves blew in all directions, and the Lotus Star Sword sect disciples in the dust were immediately sent flying. Seeing that, Su Yun did not dare hesitate, and immediately controlled the Tribulation Fire Sword to fly towards the dust. However, when he got close to the dust, the aura within the dust suddenly disappeared without a trace. Not only the aura, even the terrifying golden light had completely disappeared. What was going on? Su Yun secretly congealed and became cautious. But in the next second, a petite figure rushed out from the dust. This figure was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, it was already close to Su Yun. He was slightly startled, but before he could react, the figure had already pounced into his embrace. Su Yun was shocked. He suddenly lowered his head to look, but what entered his eyes were two snow-white, furry ears? A soft and fragrant feeling came from his body. This was not an attack at all. "Big brother, where did you run off to?" It's been so hard for me to find you. A soft voice came out, and the person buried his head deep into Su Yun's chest, and took a deep breath. Hearing that voice, Su Yun suddenly woke up, and felt extremely shocked in his heart. Qianmei? He cried out involuntarily, not daring to believe that the person who suddenly appeared was actually the Hu Qianmei that he had not seen for a long time. He never would have thought that Hu Qianmei would follow him to this mystical Wanhua realm. Just how capable was this fox spirit, to be able to come to such a place? However, Hu Qianmei's appearance made Su Yun both surprised and happy, and a strange feeling slowly floated up in his heart. Thinking back to the past, Su Yun felt a myriad of emotions. He did not know why, but in Su Yun's heart, Hu Qianmei had unknowingly become as important as a family member. You just realized it was me? You're really slow to react. Big brother, I already knew the moment you appeared. I remember your aura very clearly. Hu Qianmei raised her head, her young and charming face revealed a sly smile. She then raised her small hand and quietly pinched Su Yun's lower body. Su Yun's entire body trembled, and he almost fell off the tribulation fire sword. He anxiously slapped away Hu Qianmei's evil little hand, and looked around in embarrassment, only to see that the Lotus Star Sword sect disciples below all had their mouths wide open, as big as an egg, as they stared blankly at the two people in the air. Everyone was like a statue, motionless, completely shocked. This damned fox spirit. Can't you tell the difference? Su Yun was furious. He thought that he would teach her a lesson later, and then brought Hu Qianmei to the ground. He coughed, then said in a serious tone, "All of you, stop. This is one of us." Only Hu Tianwu was the first to wake up from his shock. He quickly walked over, looked at Hu Qianmei and then cupped his fists. "So it's Madam Sect Leader, we are truly rude, to actually treat you as a criminal of the Realm Tree, please forgive us, forgive us." Madam Sect Leader? It seemed like Hu Tianwu had seen that claw. Su Yun's old face was a little red. This fox spirit really did not let him be at peace. "Hey, there's no need to apologize. You guys are right, I am indeed a criminal of the Realm Tree." Hu Qianmei laughed and said, "What?" Su Yun was startled. Then, before Hu Qianmei could speak, a few sounds of breaking through the air came out from behind. Following that, a group of Realm Tree experts rushed over, with Zhu Gu and the rest leading them. Chapter 620. Seeing that, Su Yun's face became serious. However, Hu Qianmei grabbed onto Su Yun's big hand and shouted, "Big brother, run quickly, these fellows are here to capture me, quickly leave the Wanhua realm with me." "Leave? Where to?" "Wherever you can go. Leave from the dark places, door of disorder. We must not let these fellows catch us, otherwise we will be finished. They want to hand me over to the all-empty sect." "Calm the anger of the all-empty sect," Hu Qianmei said anxiously. "I want to hand you over to the all-empty sect?" Su Yun was shocked. "Could it be that you killed Xiao Huailin?" "Now is not the time to talk about this, let's go," Hu Qianmei said. Seeing Hu Qianmei's anxious expression, Su Yun heaved a sigh of relief, and without hesitation, he immediately wanted to leave. But just then, a large number of figures flew out from the depths of the Linglong Mountain. All of them landed on a huge white cloud, pressing towards them, blocking their path. Su Yun saw that these people were the experts of the Linglong Mountain led by Feather Moon Pavilion. "Sect Leader Su, so you have already captured this criminal. We just received news from Lord Zhu Gu and rushed here to capture this criminal, but we never thought that Sect Leader Su would be one step ahead of us." Yan Wen saw that Su Yun and Hu Qianmei were together, and did not understand what was going on. He thought that Su Yun had captured Hu Qianmei, and immediately said with a smile. Seeing that, Su Yun and Hu Qianmei both stopped in their tracks. Su Yun stared at Yan Wen. He never thought that the experts of the Linglong Mountain would actually rush here so quickly. Did they already receive the news? What a fast movement! Zhu Gu's group flew over from behind, looked at Su Yun and Hu Qianmei, and then asked Su Yun, "Who are you?" Are you an accomplice of this criminal? Lord Jugu, please do not misunderstand. This is my Lotus Star Sword Sect's new vice-sect leader, Su Yun. Hua Tianwu, who was below, quickly introduced. Hearing that, Jugu looked at Su Yun and said, "You are actually the vice-sect leader of the Lotus Star Sword Sect? Sect leader Su Yun, this person is my realm tree's criminal. The reason why we are here is to capture her. Since you have already captured her, quickly hand her over to us." With that, Jugu waved his hand, and two people flew out from his side, approaching Su Yun. But in the next second, Su Yun held on to the tribulation fire beneath his feet with one hand, and suddenly waved it towards the two approaching people. The sword body exploded with a circle of flame energy, and like a wave it smashed towards the two people. The two of them were startled and immediately used their chi to resist. The might of the flames was extremely strong and forced the two of them back. This action caused everyone present to be in an uproar. Sect leader Su Yun, what are you doing? Gu. Yun Gu Yun, Yen Yun, Yun Yen Yen, said. Yun Yen Chen Yen, Qing Yun Wen, Yun Yun Chen Qian, Sect Yun Yun Sect Yun, Yun, God, Gu Yun, Chen Yun Yun Chen Chen. Sect leader, what are you doing? Hua Tianwu asked involuntarily. Su Yun's expression was extremely serious. He bellowed, "Tianwu, from today onwards, I am no longer the sect leader of the Lotus Star Sword Sect. I no longer have anything to do with the Lotus Star Sword Sect. The matters here have nothing to do with you. Quickly bring your disciples back to the sect. Do not participate in this matter. Do you know?" Sect leader. The people from the Lotus Star Sword Sect below cried out involuntarily. They completely did not understand why Su Yun was doing this, and were unable to accept this sudden change. However, Hu Qianmei was very clear about Su Yun's actions. The corner of her mouth curled up, revealing a happy smile. This person was always thinking about others. For himself, in the face of so many tyrants, he did not hesitate to step forward. In order to not implicate the Lotus Star Sword Sect, he announced on the spot that he had severed all relations with the Lotus Star Sword Sect, and always took all the misfortune on himself. Is this really okay? Hu Qianmei could not help but exclaim softly, even though there was a faint happy smile on his face when he spoke. There's nothing good or bad about it. Su Yun's expression was resolute, and said indifferently, "This is my decision. Since I have decided to do it, I will not regret it." He raised the tribulation fire sword in his hand, pointed at Jugu and the others in the distance, and said in a deep voice, "This person is my man. I do not know who you are, and I do not care about your cultivation. I only want to tell you one thing. If I do not nod my head, you will never be able to take her away. Now, either fight with me or leave. Make your choice." So arrogant. As Su Yun's words fell, everyone's hearts surged with a nameless rage. He was just a single person, and his cultivation was not considered outstanding, but facing the realm tree, facing so many experts of the Linglong Mountain, he actually dared to say such arrogant words. Did he not know how to write the word death? What big words! Ju Gu sneered. Who do you think you are? Can you contend against so many of our experts? But, just as Ju Gu finished speaking, Lu Yuan, who was at the side, suddenly understood. She stared at Su Yun for a long time, then exclaimed, "Are you the Lord Su Yun who destroyed the true Devil Realm scheme?" With that said, the people around Lu Yuan were all shocked. Is that the Lord Su Yun who was saved by the Realm Master? It's him? Why is he here? Lord Su Yun actually became the sect leader of the Lotus Star Sword Sect. A few of the Realm Tree experts who had seen Su Yun before were suddenly enlightened, and whispered to each other, exclaiming in shock. Ju Gu was the new guard captain, and had never seen Su Yun before, so he did not recognize him. When Su Yun saw that the group of people recognized him, he remembered that his relationship with the Realm Tree was not bad, and immediately took out the divine leaf that the Realm Master had given me, and shouted, "Since all of you know me, then it's easy. This is the divine leaf that the Realm Master bestowed to me, there is no other meaning in taking it out, I only hope that everyone will not make things difficult for us, and quickly leave. Divine leaf? Lu Yuan was shocked. With this leaf, I can represent the Realm Master, Lord Zhugu. What should we do? Su Yun has this item, we definitely cannot touch it. One of them turned his head and said to Zhugu. Hearing that, Zhugu secretly snorted. I don't care who Su Yun is, and I don't care what he has in his hands, the situation this time is extremely different. Everyone, don't you want to think about it, in your hearts, is the Wanhua realm more important, or is the leaf in that person's hand more important? Everyone was in a dilemma. If we rush over and capture that demon fox, we will be able to protect the Wanhua realm and protect the Wanhua realm. This way, although we will be punished by the Realm Master, we will be respected by the spirits of the Wanhua realm. Do you still not understand which is more important? Zhugu drank again. These righteous words made the hesitant people come to a sudden realization. The situation was different now. If he was still worried about the divine leaf, the Wanhua realm would not be able to protect him. Lord Zhugu is right. Compared to the entire Wanhua realm, this divine leaf is nothing. The situation is urgent now, we cannot be overcautious. Lu Yuan said solemnly. That's right, we are thinking from the perspective of the Wanhua realm. At this time, even if the Realm Master punishes us, it does not matter. Furthermore, we are dealing with the demon fox, not Lord Su Yun. There is no need to be afraid. Everyone attack together, we will snatch the demon fox first. If there is any responsibility, we will bear it together. Alright. Following Zhugu's bewitchment, the Realm Tree experts immediately had no more worries. They shouted in unison, the profound Qi activated, their auras released. From the looks of it, they had already decided to fight with Su Yun. Pavilion Master Yen, what should we do? Amongst the experts of the Linglong Mountain, who were led by Yenwen, Songhui Sr. said to Yenwen in a deep voice. Let's wait and see. Yenwen said indifferently in a low voice. If these Realm Tree people want to capture the Fox Demon, then let them capture it. Sect Leader Su is indebted to my Linglong Mountain. If we were to make a move, it would not be appropriate. Furthermore, Sect Leader Su has already announced that he has left the Lotus Star Sword sect, and it is already very difficult for him to deal with so many experts of the Realm Tree by himself. If we were to make a move at this time, in the future, if word were to spread, others would definitely say that my Linglong Mountain is repaying kindness with enmity, bullying with numbers. Wouldn't our reputation be ruined? When you all leave the Linglong Mountain in the future, I'm afraid you won't be able to raise your heads to see others, right? That's right, this is a matter of the Realm Tree, let them handle it. We can just watch from the side. Zhang Luquang said. Yenwen made his decision, and immediately ordered everyone to retreat a few kilometers to make their stance clear. In the eyes of Zhugu and the rest, his actions made them unhappy. These fellows from the Linglong Mountain, they actually do not plan to make a move. Very good, after we settle these matters, I will definitely take care of all of you. Zhugu stared sinisterly at Yenwen and the rest, and thought to himself. Lu Yuan and the rest spread out and surrounded Su Yun and Hu Qianmei in a ring shape. Lu Yuan pulled out the strange tree branch and shouted at Su Yun. Master Su Yun, although my Wanhua realm is indebted to you, I'm afraid that we cannot listen to you this time. You must hand over this fox demon, if not my Wanhua realm will not be able to protect you. It seems like you are determined to fight me? Su Yun said coldly. There's no other choice. Lu Yuan clenched his teeth and said. Since that's the case, I won't be polite. Su Yun held onto the tribulation fire sword tightly, and said coldly, Let's do it. Master Su Yun, you forced us to do this, I'm sorry. Lu Yuan said, then bellowed. I will hold Master Su Yun back, you guys capture the fox demon. With that said, Lu Yuan rushed over with 4 people, straight towards Su Yun. Seeing that, Su Yun was about to move. However, before he could make his move, Hu Qianmei beside him had already taken a step forward. She formed palms with both of her hands and waved them left and right, releasing 2 rays of golden light. The golden light flew out from her palm and quickly revolved around her. In the end, it actually merged together and formed a huge and slender rainbow. When the golden rainbow exploded, Lu Yuan and the rest were immediately forced to retreat, unable to get close to Su Yun and Hu Qianmei. But the rainbow was far from that. After circling around Hu Qianmei for more than 10 rounds, its surface suddenly changed, transforming into a gigantic golden dragon, pouncing straight towards Lu Yuan and the rest. What? Lu Yuan's face changed. Chapter 6:21. The golden dragon appeared, bringing with it an unstoppable might. It smashed towards Lu Yuan and the rest. The aura of the golden dragon was extremely vast, like a storm sweeping in all directions. The moment it appeared, all the realm tree experts were actually unable to get close to it. What is this? Su Yun was shocked. He turned his head and looked at the petite fox in front of him, and asked, Qianmei, what cultivation level are you at now? Immediately enter the 5th stage of Sky Spirit Master. The corner of Hu Qianmei's mouth raised, and said with a smile, What? Su Yun was extremely shocked. When did your cultivation become so strong? 5th stage of Sky Spirit Master? This was simply flying at high speed. It was already an inconceivable thing for her to come here, but her cultivation was so vast. Could it be that she had encountered some sort of fortuitous encounter? Su Yun thought. Hu Qianmei seemed to have understood Su Yun's confusion. She turned and smiled. Big brother, have you forgotten about us sharing our innate talent? Although you have left, your talent has increased explosively, and your cultivation has increased, which is extremely helpful to me. Furthermore, I have obtained a divine object called True Dragon City, and cultivating inside this divine object, my cultivation speed has increased by 1,000 miles, and is not something ordinary people can compare to. Adding that I have seized Xiao Huailin's cultivation, my cultivation has risen to the 4th stage of Sky Spirit Master, and is close to the 5th stage. So that's how it is. Hee big brother, after we get rid of these annoying people, I'll bring you into the True Dragon City and dual cultivate with you, okay? Ugh, let's settle the matter in front of us first. Su Yun's old face flushed red and said awkwardly. Seeing Su Yun's embarrassed look, Hu Qianmei laughed even more happily. Seeing that Hu Qianmei was still talking to Su Yun and completely ignoring him, Lu Yuan was truly furious. You're simply looking down on me, she growled. The tree branch in her hand released a green light, and countless thick vines shot out from the light, directly rushing towards the golden dragon. The vines seemed to be alive as they wrapped around the golden dragon, binding the golden dragon that was completely condensed from the profound qi. Its movements were restricted, and the surrounding realm tree experts immediately rushed forward, attacking with the intention of scattering it. It was just that these people had obviously underestimated the golden dragon, and even more so, they had underestimated the current Hu Qianmei. The golden dragon had suffered a fierce attack. The surrounding profound skill continued to fly over, but its power was still gone. The light was not weak, it roared, struggling with its body. It actually broke a large amount of vines, and was about to break free. Lu Yuan was stunned. So powerful. Su Yun was slightly surprised in his heart. The strength of the golden dragon had probably already surpassed the range of a 5th stage Sky Spirit Master cultivator. It should be a treasure, and not just a simple profound technique. Lu Yuan held onto the tree branch, and continued to fight with the golden dragon. The green vines continued to appear, but they were all shattered by the golden dragon's claws. Facing such an existence, Lu Yuan felt that it was extremely strenuous, and he still needed the cooperation of the other 3 realm tree experts to barely block it, but he could not hold on for long. Master Lu Yuan, hold this magic tool back. I will go capture the fox demon. Zhu Gu shouted at Lu Yuan and the rest, who were still struggling to deal with the golden dragon, and then rushed towards Hu Qianmei. Hu Qianmei used all her strength to control the golden dragon, and was already powerless to fight against Ju Gu and the rest. Seeing that, Su Yun naturally would not stand by the side and watch, holding on to the tribulation fire sword. He slashed down crazily, and a large amount of sword chi that contained a blazing temperature exploded out. Ju Gu secretly snorted. The profound chi was released, transforming into a barrier that surrounded his body. The sword chi struck, but it could not even break through his defense. "Is that all you have?" Ju Gu said coldly. With a wave of his hand, a dark green dagger appeared, and the dagger pierced straight towards Su Yun's heart. Su Yun did not panic. His eyes were focused on the incoming dagger. The tribulation fire sword in his hand was like a fan as it flew towards the dagger. His profound strength could not compare to Ju Gu, but the sword that he danced with was extremely vast. It had the aura of a whale swallowing mountains and rivers. The tribulation fire sword struck the dagger, causing the sword to continuously retreat, but the flames on the sword were like venomous snakes that followed the dagger and spread towards Ju Gu's wrist. Ju Gu felt a tearing and burning sensation coming from his wrist and arm. He snorted and quickly retracted his hand. But just at this moment, his left palm shot out like lightning. A ball of poisonous gas shot out from his palm and strangely spread towards Su Yun. "What?" Su Yun was startled. Before he could even react, he was immediately engulfed by the poisonous gas. The gas seeped into his skin, corroding his internal organs, causing him to fall from the sky. Hu Qianmei sensed Su Yun's movement. He suddenly turned his head and exclaimed, "Big brother!" Bang! Su Yun directly fell to the ground. His face was pale white, blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, as though he had been poisoned. So despicable! He actually used poison. Hu Qianmei gritted his teeth in anger. Despicable? Didn't you use all sorts of schemes and tricks on us along the way? How can I be despicable when dealing with people like you? Ju Gu snorted. He did not care about Hu Qianmei, and directly rushed towards Su Yun with his dagger. Looking at his posture, he wanted to take Su Yun's life. Protect the sect leader. At this critical moment, a loud shout came from the side. Everyone looked over in shock, only to see Hua Tianwu bringing a large number of experts from the Lotus Star Sword sect rushing towards Su Yun. These people surrounded Su Yun so tightly that not even a drop of water could leak out. All of them had solemn expressions, holding onto their weapons as they stared at Ju Gu, as though they were facing death calmly. Good. Good. Your Lotus Star Sword sect actually dares to go against our realm tree. Very good. Since that's the case, then I will send your Lotus Star Sword sect to the west together. Ju Gu said sinisterly. He swung his dagger downwards, the dagger blade suddenly becoming 100 meters long. This attack was extremely fierce. However, just as the attack landed, Su Yun, who was on the ground, suddenly leaped up and rushed towards Ju Gu as though nothing had happened. What? Ju Gu's eyes were round, his face filled with astonishment. He looked at Su Yun, only to realize that his complexion was not bad. His eyes were bright and full of spirit. He did not look like he was poisoned at all. Pretending to be weak? Ju Gu suddenly understood. Although he had planned to use this poison to ambush him long ago, he had already planned to show weakness to the enemy and find a chance to break the enemy. You're even more despicable than me. Ju Gu gritted his teeth and roared. He had already used his move, and it was difficult to retract it. At this moment, he could only fight him head-on. He did not believe that his cultivation, which was close to the 7th stage, would not be able to defeat the 3rd stage of the Sky Spirit Master. However, Ju Gu did not know that the current Su Yun wanted to fight him head-on. In the previous battle, although Su Yun's aura was not weak, he understood that his cultivation was too low and did not have the advantage. The opponent's cultivation was high, and there were many of them. If he wasted too much profound chi on Ju Gu, he would definitely not be able to contend against the others. Therefore, he had to use the most efficient method to deal with these people. If not, he and Hu Qianmei would not be able to escape this calamity. And now, the opportunity had come. But when Su Yun got close to the gigantic dagger, the tribulation fire in his hand suddenly loosened, the divine sword fell to the ground, and his hand reached into the sword sheath with lightning speed. With a flash of white light, a holy and pure sword image floated out. A snow-white lotus mark suddenly bloomed in the air, and at the center of the lotus mark was the snow-white sword. Lotus Star Sword Art. Hua Tianwu, who was below, shouted involuntarily. The group of Lotus Star Sword sect disciples all burst into an uproar. Su Yun held onto the Lotus Star Sword, the sword tip supported the lotus mark, and directly rushed towards Ju Gu. His expression was solemn, his eyes were white, and his entire body was overflowing with a strange halo. Break! Su Yun bellowed. The longsword struck out, the lotus mark touched the gigantic dagger blade, and in the blink of an eye, it wrapped around the dagger blade tightly, and then suddenly pushed forward, clang. The huge dagger blade suddenly shattered into pieces, and was completely shattered by the lotus mark. Ju Gu's eyes were dull, he was completely stunned. Such a shocking turn of events was completely out of everyone's expectations. Su Yun released the Lotus Star Sword, and with his bare hands, he quickly rushed over, but when he got close to Ju Gu, he spun his body, and his empty right hand made a chopping motion. Fast as lightning. When Ju Gu regained his senses, he had already waved his fist. But at this moment, Ju Gu felt his chest burning, he looked down, and saw that his entire chest had been cut open. Ah! Ju Gu screamed in pain, he fell from the sky. He opened his eyes to look, only to see that Su Yun's hands were still empty, there was nothing. Wait. Ju Gu seemed to have sensed something. His gaze landed on his right hand, only to see his right hand clenching tightly, as if he was holding a sword. Could it be that this guy's sword was invisible? Thinking of this, Ju Gu was truly shocked and furious. This guy had been scheming against him from the very beginning. First, break the weapon, make it impossible for him to guard against it, and then secretly attack. Defeat himself. How could this person be so despicable? Ju Gu gritted his teeth and thought. Although his cultivation was not as high as his, this series of methods was truly impossible to guard against. Su Yun leaped down from the sky, holding on to the invisible sword. He smashed it towards Ju Gu. He followed the sword, like a meteor falling to the ground, it was unstoppable. The situation was critical. Ju Gu anxiously activated his magic treasure. A thick and tall mountain appeared in the sky out of nowhere, and then pressed down on Su Yun. Ju Gu, on the other hand, anxiously dodged to the right, and dodged 1,000 meters away. With a dong sound, the ground trembled incessantly, and Su Yun's entire body was smashed into the ground by the mountain. Big brother! Hu Qianmei was anxious again. But at the moment she could not free her hands. The pressure the other realm tree experts gave her was extremely huge. If she cared about Su Yun, both of them would die miserably, the consequences would be severe. But at this moment, something strange happened again. The gigantic mountain that Ju Gu summoned suddenly trembled violently, cracks appeared in the middle of the mountain, rocks collapsed, the mountain body collapsed, and with a loud boom, the entire mountain exploded. When he looked again, an incomparably huge giant had appeared at the foot of the mountain. The power of the entire scene suddenly changed, and Su Yun was standing on the giant's shoulder. Su Yun stared at Ju Gu, his eyes filled with killing intent. He raised his hand and pointed at Ju Gu. The giant let out a roar. He extended his hand and grabbed towards Ju Gu. A huge hand that blotted out the sky. It was as if he had swallowed the mountains and rivers. Ju Gu was shocked. He immediately dodged, but he could not escape the grasp of the giant hand, and his entire body was wrapped in the palm. Crack! A horrifying sound came out. The giant hand suddenly clenched and crushed Ju Gu to death. Chapter 6:22. Ju Gu's tragic death had intimidated the rest of the experts present, and all of the Realm Tree-s were shocked. Could this incomparably large giant be Su Yun's method? No wonder this person dared to protect the fox demon by himself and fight against us. So he has this treasure to rely on. Lu Yuan, who was repelled by the golden dragon, looked at the giant that supported the sky and muttered in shock. The giant's hands slowly loosened, and specks of glowing blood and minced meat flowed out from between his fingers. Zhu Gu had long since disappeared, leaving behind a pile of rotten meat. When Yen Wen and the rest saw this from afar, they all felt fear in their hearts. Everyone had witnessed Su Yun, this giant, when he was dealing with Xiao Huilin previously. Although it was not a devil bone spirit, it was just a devil bone giant that had yet to fuse, but its strength and aura was enough to make people fearful. With Zhu Gu killed, the rest of the people could not do anything to Hu Qianmei, so they temporarily retreated and distanced themselves from him. Lu Yuan retreated and anxiously took out a pill from the space bag and stuffed it into her mouth. Her face was pale and her qi was in a mess. It was obvious that she did not gain any benefits from Hu Qianmei. However, Hu Qianmei was not in a good state either. Her originally pink and tender face was pale white, her peach blossom-like eyes were dim, her eyelids drooped slightly. She was already exhausted, as though she could faint at any time. If not for Su Yun's presence, she would not have been able to hold on any longer. To be able to block so many experts of the realm tree by herself, the strength she had displayed was truly shocking. Lu Yuan naturally knew that the magic treasure Hu Qianmei used was extraordinary, and Su Yun also had some incredible treasures in his hands. With the two of them relying on these profound artifacts, it would be difficult to capture them easily. We came in a hurry and were not prepared, so we lost them for a while. However, everyone, do not be discouraged. The cultivation of these two people is not high. They only have an advantage by relying on the magic treasure. We do not have to be afraid of them. Lu Yuan stared at Su Yun, who was leaning towards Hu Qianmei, and was no longer courteous. His voice became cold. That person called Su Yun killed Lord Zhu Gu, and as matters stand, he is no longer a friend of my realm tree, but an enemy of my realm tree. Lord Zhu Gu is an important minister of my realm tree, and this matter is also for my Wanhua realm. Su Yun's mistakes are unforgivable. Everyone attack together, kill Su Yun, capture the fox demon. Go. After saying that, Lu Yuan held his breath and rushed forward again. Thinking about Zhu Gu's tragic death, everyone was filled with grief and indignation. At that moment, no one held back, no one retreated, and all of them attacked Su Yun and Hu Qianmei like a torrential storm. The people of the Wanhua realm all used the spirit life qi as their main source. The spirit life qi was both life and death coexisted, life and death coexisted, life and death coexisted. Their spirit life qi could heal injuries, recover flesh and blood, and pull the dead back from hell, but it could also turn into a formless fatal poison, turning the flourishing business into withered bones and ruins. These people were all elites of the realm tree, and the spirit life qi they used was also extremely exquisite. Most of them were poison, and the two of them were surrounded by a thick ball of poison gas. The poison gas attacked their bodies, and the various mechanisms in their bodies quickly disappeared. The speed at which the profound qi circulated also became extremely slow, and some of the profound qi in the qi meridians suddenly collapsed, making it difficult to accumulate. Hu Qianmei was already on the verge of collapse, and almost fell from the sky. The body of the golden dragon that she was controlling had also started to dim, and was no longer as brilliant as before. Seeing that, Su Yun immediately controlled the giant to rush over and hug Hu Qianmei. The giant waved his hands and attacked the approaching realm tree people, but it was difficult for two fists to fight against four hands. If this continued, the other party would only break through the giant's defense and kill him. Su Yun secretly took a deep breath, looking at the overbearing Lu Yuan and the rest. His heart was filled with anger. Lu Yuan, although I am only at the third stage of the Sky Spirit Master, my current methods are definitely not only at the third stage of the Sky Spirit Master. Zhu Gu insisted on being my enemy, so I had no choice but to kill him. If you continue to force me like this, then, don't blame me for not giving Realm Master face and starting a massacre. Su Yun's expression was sinister as he roared coldly. Humph, you're still being stubborn. At a time like this, there are 7 existences above the 6th stage of the Sky Spirit Master here. You're just a 3rd stage of the Sky Spirit Master. How can you contend against them? Don't be so arrogant. Lu Yuan said coldly, her eyes filled with disdain. In her eyes, Su Yun was just putting on an act. Su Yun's expression was stern. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, he knew that he had no choice. He could only raise his hand and change the seal. Seeing that, Yan Wen's face changed. Not good. Could it be that Lord Su Yun is going to use that move? Lord Yanwen, what technique is Lord Su Yun going to use? The people at the side did not understand. The move that killed Xiao Huilin back then. Song Hui Sr. said indifferently. The qi on the puppet equipment has started to change. I'm afraid that Lord Su Yun has already activated the technique, and very soon, that terrifying magic tool will appear. Even an expert like Xiao Huilin is like an ant in front of that magic tool. Lu Yuan and the rest will probably turn into powder, and will not be able to escape. What? As the sound of his voice faded, everyone was shocked. It is right that we did not make a move. Today, Lord Su Yun's strength is even higher than when he fought against Xiao Huilin. Yanwen said. The surroundings started to shake. The profound qi around Su Yun's body quickly gathered, like a river gushing out of his body. It gathered at his arm. This was the profound technique to summon the devil-boned spirit. The sky darkened and the wind and clouds changed color, as if the end of the world had arrived. Lu Yuan and the rest felt that something was amiss. Their expressions became vigilant. They did not know why, but they felt that their hearts were covered with a layer of shadow. It was extremely oppressive. Stop! Right at this moment, a melodious and urgent shout resounded in the horizon. A large group of figures flew over from the horizon. Lu Yuan was still fighting a bloody battle with the giant, intending to break through the giant's defensive line and attack Su Yun, who was casting the spell. However, Yan Wen and the rest were the first to notice the person who had arrived. When they noticed the person, Yan Wen could no longer hold it in and shouted loudly, Lord Su Yun, Lord Lu Yuan, please stop, Prime Minister Rong is here. Prime Minister Rong? Lu Yuan was startled. He retracted his hand and looked back, only to see Rong Muk leading a large number of Realm Tree elites, rushing over. Everyone, stop, quickly stop! Rong Muk shouted, his expression anxious. Seeing that, Lu Yuan gave the others a look, and only then did they give up. Seeing that Lu Yuan had stopped, Su Yun removed the Devil Bone Spirit's technique, kept his sword and retreated, guarding against Lu Yuan and the rest. Lu Yuan asked, Prime Minister Rong, what are you doing here? I am here on the orders of the Realm Lord to recall all of you. Rong Muk exhaled and said in a serious tone, The Realm Lord has already stated it, why didn't you all listen? The Realm Lord has ordered that you are not allowed to act on your own. Quickly return to the Realm Tree and assist the Realm Lord in facing the enemy. I know that the Realm Lord does not wish for us to capture the Fox Demon and hand it over to the All-Empty sect, but as matters stand, this is no longer a matter of the Fox Demon, but a matter of Su Yun. He killed Lord Zhu Gu. How can we let this matter rest? Lu Yuan snorted. Hearing that, Rong Muk was not too surprised. He waved his hand at the people beside him, and a spirit cultivator immediately flew out from the crowd, circling in the air. He swayed around twice, then returned to Rong Muk's side, and nodded at Rong Muk. Rong Muk understood, then turned his head and said to Lu Yuan, It's just that my body has been destroyed, my soul is still fine. Once I return to the Realm Tree and reconstruct my body, I can revive, don't worry. But with his body destroyed, Lord Zhu Gu's cultivation lost, to a spirit cultivator, what's the difference between that and death? Lu Yuan snorted. If that's the case, I'm afraid that even if Lord Zhu Gu were to revive, he would still be better off dead. Then what do you want? Seeing that Lu Yuan was being overbearing, Su Yun was furious, and without waiting for Rong-Muk to speak, he snorted and asked, "How is it? Of course I'll break your body. Destroy your cultivation." Lu Yuan said coldly. "That depends on whether you can do it. Su Yun, you're too arrogant." Lu Yuan was furious and was about to attack again. Seeing that, Rong-Muk immediately stopped him. "Masters, please don't be angry, please don't be angry." Rong-Muk sighed and said, "No matter what the result of the two of you fighting, it is not something that we want to see. Now that the enemy is invading, what we need to do is to defend against the enemy, and not to engage in a meaningless fight here." He looked at Lu Yuan and said, "Lord Lu, I know your intentions, and I also understand that you are doing this for the sake of the Wanhua realm, but what you are doing now is useless. Even if you hand over the fox demon who killed Xiao Huailin to the all-empty sect, they will not let the matter rest. Do you think that the Cloud Heavenly Palace is really here to stand up for Xiao Huailin?" Lu Yuan opened his mouth. "This, Lord Zhu Gu's body being destroyed is not within my expectations, but the matter has already been cast, and there is no way to reverse it. Lord Lu Yuan, even if you kill Lord Su Yun, it will be useless." Rong-Muk shook his head. "Right now, the Realm Tree is in need of people. Please quickly return to the Realm Tree and listen to the Realm Master's orders." Hearing that, Lu Yuan and the rest were naturally unconvinced, but since Rong-Muk had already said it like that, it would not be good for them to go against him. Furthermore, Su Yun was not easy to deal with. "Then what about this person?" Lu Yuan asked. Rong-Muk's gaze landed on Su Yun. He thought for a while, then asked, "Master Su, what are your next preparations?" "Leave the Wanhua realm." Su Yun said indifferently. "All right." Rong-Muk nodded his head. "All-Empty Sect is using the Fox Demon as an excuse to attack my Wanhua realm. If you all leave the Wanhua realm, it might be beneficial to us. Since that's the case, you all should immediately head to the Gate of Nature, and hurry up and leave. Once the All-Empty Sect succeeds in constructing the bridge, you all will immediately enter the Wanhua realm, and at that time, the Gate of Nature will definitely be sealed, and you all will have nowhere to go." Hearing that, Su Yun cupped his fists towards Rong-Muk. "Prime Minister Rong has good intentions, Su Yun appreciates it, we can leave now. I will give the order to the guards of the Gate of Nature to not make things difficult for you. You all should leave quickly. Farewell." Su Yun did not stand on ceremony. He cupped his fists towards Rong-Muk, and immediately carried Hu Qianmei, who was on the verge of fainting, and flew into the distance. Lu Yuan and the rest could only watch as Su Yun left, feeling extremely angry. Chapter 623. On the branch of the Realm Tree, a beautiful Realm Master dressed in green stood gracefully. Her delicate and pretty face looked especially refreshing and pleasant in the beautiful Realm Tree. Below, countless armored soldiers were gathered, and people were rushing over from all directions. The scene was extremely spectacular. The Realm Master watched quietly, her expression serene. A large number of bird cries sounded out in the sky. Following that, countless birds flew over from the mountain. They were densely packed, covering the sky and covering the sun, flying towards the Realm Tree. There were eagles as big as small houses, giant birds covered in flames, and strange birds that looked like Baifeng with lightning flashing in their eyes. It was bizarre and wondrous. In the distance, countless furious or low roars resounded. The ground started to tremble slightly, dust flew into the air, and waves of running sounds floated towards them. Looking over, it was actually the countless creatures and beasts of the Wanhua realm, gathering here. In the end, the Wanhua realm was a realm of nature, and what the Realm Master commanded was not only the people here, but also the things here, the spirits here, and everything here. When the Wanhua realm was in trouble, the ones who stood up to protect it were not limited to the spirit cultivator, but also countless beasts and birds. They gathered at the periphery, lined up in an orderly manner, as though they were waiting for the Realm Master's orders. Seeing that, Realm Master turned her head slightly. "Is there any news from Sword World?" Hearing that, the person at the side immediately cupped his fists and replied respectfully, "Reporting to Realm Master, there has been no news for 2 days." 2 days? Realm Master frowned slightly. All Empty Sect's Bridge of Realm will be completed tomorrow. Logically speaking, there should be news coming today. Why is there no movement yet? Perhaps the messenger is already on his way. The man said respectfully, "Is that so?" Realm Master lowered her head in thought. "Realm Master, do not worry, although my Wanhua realm is not as good as the other realms, it is still more than enough to deal with a few sects and powers. Even if all Empty Sect and the others come now, we are not afraid." "That's not what I'm worried about." Realm Master shook her head lightly. "It's the people of True Devil Realm. True Devil Realm did not make any movements. Maybe they do not plan to make a move on my Wanhua realm this time. Do you think that's possible? If it was you, would you still be willing to be indifferent?" But the man opened his mouth, but no words came out. The Realm Master stretched out her hand and gently waved it in the air. Her finger that was like a spring onion emitted a resplendent green light and drew a circular image in front of her. A talisman that was as big as a tadpole appeared on the small array. Realm Master extended her jade finger and lightly tapped on the talisman, causing strands of exquisite spirit life chi to dance on her fingertip. It was very beautiful, but as the profound strength on her fingertips continued to collide with the circular diagram, Realm Master's beautiful face slowly became gloomy. In the end, a trace of oppression that was hard to capture surfaced in the depths of her eyes. As though she had heard some extremely bad news, she tore off the circular map in front of her, waved her hand and urged the profound strength to shout, "Everyone, set off immediately, gather at the gate of nature and prepare to meet the enemy." This sudden order caused the Realm Tree ministers behind him to be stunned. "Realm Master, there is no news from the Sword World, and the people of all Empty Sect will only be able to set up the bridge tomorrow. We are not done preparing yet. Why are we in such a hurry to set off now?" An old man behind him asked curiously. "The situation has changed. Don't say too much and quickly head to the gate of nature." "Faster!" the Realm Master bellowed. Her voice was extremely serious and unquestionable. Seeing that, everyone knew that the Realm Master was not spouting nonsense, they did not dare delay and immediately gave the order. Very quickly, the soldiers under the Realm Tree started to move. One by one they flew into the air and rushed towards the gate of nature, while the birds in the sky and the hundreds of beasts and spirits below all moved quickly. The ground and the sky converged into 2 dark green torrents, rushing towards the gate of nature. The scene was incomparably grand. After leaving the Linglong Mountain, Su Yun stepped on his flying sword and brought Hu Qianmei along as he flew straight towards the gate of nature. "Big brother, I'm sorry for causing you trouble again." Hu Qianmei grabbed onto Su Yun's clothes, stepped on his flying sword, and raised his head to smile at Su Yun. Her face was still very pale, without much blood, and the profound qi in her body had been used up a lot. If not for Su Yun feeding her pills in time, she would not even have the strength to speak. "Since things have come to this, apologizing is useless. Tell me, how do you plan to compensate me? Can I repay you with my body?" "Hee, don't be so ungrateful. Back then, when I met Xiao Huailin, I did not covet his cultivation. It was just that I found out that guy actually provoked Big Brother. That's why I killed him. In case he comes back to seek revenge on Big Brother in the future," Hu Qianmei said. Hearing that, Su Yun laughed bitterly and shook his head. Who knew that Xiao Huailin's background would be so big, to actually make the Cloud Heavenly Palace's people move out? But luckily, there is still time. We will immediately leave the Wanhua realm and return to the ultimate martial world. The ultimate martial world is vast, there are countless capable people, and hidden sects are even more numerous. I'm afraid that the people from the Cloud Heavenly Palace will not dare to act recklessly there. Once we enter the ultimate martial world, they will not be able to do anything to us. I went to the gate of nature earlier and planned to leave first to avoid the limelight. I will come back to look for you in the future, but I didn't expect to be stopped by that stinky fellow called Ju-gu. They planned to hand me over to the Realm Master, and I ran all the way to the dark place to use the crevice to leave. If I was really handed over to the all-empty sect by them, I'm afraid that my life would be worse than death. This time, Prime Minister Rong has spoken. Don't worry, we'll leave immediately. We can't delay any longer. All right. Hu Qianmei nodded his head. He did not ask any further questions, swallowed another pill, recovered his profound qi, and quietly grabbed onto Su Yun's clothes, and looked forward. Suddenly, a strange phenomenon occurred. The ground below them started to rumble, and in the distance, there were even the cries of a large number of birds. Su Yun and Hu Qianmei looked around, and saw countless creatures flying over from all directions, all of them rushing towards the same direction. What's going on? Su Yun frowned as he looked. This direction is the direction of the gate of nature. What are these guys doing? Hu Qianmei did not understand. Su Yun lowered his head and thought for a while, then intentionally slowed down his speed, and said, Don't worry about it too much. If these creatures are heading towards the gate of nature, then I'm afraid that something has happened to the gate of nature. Let's go over and take a look. If the situation is not right, the people of the Realm Tree will go back on their words, and we will leave from the dark place. All right. Hu Qianmei nodded. If it wasn't for the risk of the crevice in the dark place, Su Yun wouldn't have gone to the gate of nature. The entire Wanhua realm was in an uproar, countless of living beings had gathered at the gate of nature. This spectacular scene could be said to be unprecedented, and unprecedented. Su Yun and Hu Qianmei rode their flying swords and approached the gate of nature. The two of them stood on top of a mountain and looked into the distance, but with just a glance they were extremely shocked. The inside and outside of the gate of nature had long been surrounded so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Countless armored soldiers and countless creatures were densely packed together, causing people to panic. Are they here to take me? Hu Qianmei was startled. Do you need it? Sending so many experts just to capture you? Su Yun shook his head. Furthermore, if I really wanted to capture you, I would have done it long ago in the Linglong Mountain. Why would I wait until now? That Rong Muk's cultivation was even higher than giant Lu Yuan's. Don't think too much about it, there are so many Realm Tree experts here, and so many living beings, it is most likely related to the Realm Master, maybe. The people from the all-empty sect are about to arrive. As he finished speaking, Su Yun's heart skipped a beat. Is that so? Hearing that, Hu Qianmei's pitch-black eyes looked towards the gigantic door that was surrounded by tens of thousands of flowers, and then said, Since it's like that, we cannot stay any longer, big brother. That Rong Muk said that he has already informed the people here. We can leave now and return to the ultimate martial world. If we delay any longer, I'm afraid there will be trouble. All right. Su Yun nodded. The two of them increased their speed and rushed towards the gate of nature. As they got closer, they could hear waves of roars echoing non-stop. Who are you? Quickly descend, or else be executed. Several shouts came from below. They were the officers of the army. I am Su Yun. Quickly get out of the way. Your Prime Minister Rong Muk has given the order. Quickly disperse and let us pass. Su Yun shouted. However, none of the officers listened to Su Yun and immediately shouted, The all-empty sect is about to arrive. The gate of nature has already been sealed by the barrier. No one is allowed to use the gate of nature to enter or exit. I don't care who you are, leave quickly, otherwise, once the battle starts, you will all die. Do not blame us. What? The gate of nature has been sealed? Su Yun and Hu Qianmei were startled. The two of them raised their heads to look, only to see that in front of the gigantic gate of nature, there were a large number of spirit cultivator with high cultivation. Some of them were holding onto staffs, some of them were holding onto scrolls, and were wandering around in front of the gate of nature. All of them had their eyes closed, and were muttering to themselves, as though they were talking about something. The front of the gate of nature was overflowing with light. The profound qi was floating, like a layer of gorgeous curtain, completely covering the entire gate. Could it be that the people from the all-empty sect are really coming? Hu Qianmei opened her pink lips and said in a daze. I'm not sure, but I heard that the bridge of world constructed by the all-empty sect should only arrive tomorrow. Why would they come today? Su Yun said in a low voice. Since things have come to this, we don't have much time left. Since we can't leave the gate of nature, we can only return to the Linglong Mountain. Qianmei, quickly, follow me to the dark place. Hearing that, Hu Qianmei regained his senses, and anxiously turned and flew with Su Yun, returning back to the Linglong Mountain. The Realm Master was not here, and Rong Myuk was not here either, so Su Yun was unable to easily pass through the defense army and get close to the gate of nature. Furthermore, the seal array had already been set up, so it was impossible to break through the seal array and pass through the gate of nature. These seal array were all extraordinary items, and it was not easy to set them up. For now, if he wanted to leave the Wanhua realm, he could only head to the dark place. Chapter 624. The Realm Tree Army attacked towards the gate of nature. They were like a swarm of ants, densely packed together. The scene of the crowd moving was grand and spectacular. The sky was filled with birds, the surroundings were filled with beasts. The entire Wanhua realm was already prepared, welcoming the unknown change. A green-robed realm master quietly floated in the air. Behind her were the hundreds of realm tree ministers. Everyone's expressions were solemn as they stared at the gate of nature. Reporting to Realm Master, the information we received was wrong. In order to guard against our Wanhua realm, the all-empty sect was afraid that we would be prepared, so they deliberately leaked the wrong time to us. In fact, the Bridge of Realm had already been set up a day in advance, and the spies we sent out had already been captured by the all-empty sect, killed by them, and lost their lives in the Sword World. Prime Minister Rong Myuk said. I used the small Wanxiang map to calculate this point in advance, so I ordered the army to gather here. The Realm Master said indifferently. I never thought that the people of the Cloud Heavenly Palace would be more shrewd than I imagined. Once they take advantage of the situation to enter the Wanhua realm, the Wanhua realm will be in chaos, and we must block them in front of the gate of nature, otherwise the consequences will be unimaginable. Everyone nodded silently. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Just then, the ground suddenly trembled violently, the sky suddenly darkened, and the scene of the earth shaking and mountains shaking appeared in the eyes of every realm tree soldier. A large number of soldiers knelt down on one knee, displaying a respectful posture, and the birds in the sky all landed on the ground, not daring to fly high. All the beasts crawled on the ground, their postures were filled with reverence. Everything seemed to be announcing something, as if an incredible existence was approaching. Realm Master looked into the distance, only to see a large number of incomparably thick tree stems and vines emerging from the ground. They were like pythons, scuttling around the ground, and finally, they all gathered in an empty space and stopped. Seeing that, the realm tree ministers led by Rong Myuk all rushed over and cupped their fists towards the empty space where the vines and tree stems were intertwined. We pay our respects to the Tree Lord. We pay our respects to the Tree Lord. The shouts continued. The sound was earth-shattering as it swept over. The empty space cracked open as a large number of tree stems tore open the ground. Immediately after, a gigantic tree that could hold up the sky slowly rose from the crack. The enormous tree was extremely large, incredibly lush, as if it was only a few times smaller than the realm tree. How vast was the realm tree! Even though this enormous tree was smaller, it was still exceptionally majestic and sturdy, comparable to the great mountains and seas, vast and boundless. However, what was even more surprising was that there were many pitch-black tree holes on the trunk of this giant tree. They were extremely long and narrow, and from afar, these tree holes formed the shape of a strange human face. When the tree completely appeared on the ground, the human face moved. Ha 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 ha, I'm not late, am I? A deep and rough voice came from inside the tree and spread throughout nature's gate. Seeing that, the Realm Master nodded slightly, and said indifferently, "Uncle came at the right time, the all-empty sect is about to attack. If you were to appear, you would be able to intimidate them. Although my Wanhua realm is not a strong realm, it is definitely not a weak realm that can be trampled on by others. Now that someone dares to come to my Wanhua realm to show off, we naturally cannot sit idly by." The big tree snorted and laughed. "I want to see what abilities that Wanhua realm and Cloud Heavenly Palace have to dare to make a scene here." After the group of ministers heard this, they all agreed. Realm Master did not say anything. This tree spirit grew from the same root as the realm tree. Although its spiritual energy could not be compared to the realm tree, it still had an astonishing cultivation. After the gigantic tree spirit appeared, it gave many people a tranquilizer. Some of them were still worried, but after the tree spirit appeared, many of them revealed relaxed expressions. Even though the people from Cloud Heavenly Palace were about to arrive, they did not seem to be that nervous anymore. Tree Lord has been cultivating underground for 10,000 years. His cultivation is profound, and his strength is heavenly. I never thought that this matter would even alarm him, but if it were to appear, it would definitely be extremely beneficial to us. I'm afraid that even the people from Cloud Heavenly Palace would have to think twice before facing it." Rong Muk whispered to the Realm Master. "Tree Lord's strength is indeed able to intimidate Cloud Heavenly Palace, but it is unable to dispel the greed in their hearts, and will not let them easily give up on spying on the Wanhua realm. We still have a lot of things to do, just be careful," the Realm Master said indifferently. Rong Muk nodded. Crash! Just then, the gigantic gate of nature suddenly released waves of light. Following that, the birds that were circling around the gate of nature were all frightened, and all flew far away. The soldiers in front of gate of nature immediately raised their swords and blades, and stared at the door with serious expressions. "Is it coming?" The Realm Tree ministers all had serious expressions as they stared at the gigantic gate of nature. Seeing that Realm Master's beautiful face was filled with coldness and solemnity, she could only see her fair and exquisite hands gently holding onto the door, above her waist and below her abdomen, her eyes staring at the door, her eyebrows not moving, her expression solemn, without the slightest bit of fear. She stared straight at the door. The gate of nature released circle after circle of light blue runes. Following that, hundreds and thousands of light blue square talismans appeared inside the door. These talismans scattered all over the place, and in the end, they all gathered together, forming a bridge that extended into the void. He really came. Seeing that, Rong Muk took a deep breath and shouted loudly, "Everyone get ready!" With that, the Realm Tree soldiers all straightened their chests, gathered their profound strength, and stared at the gate of nature, while the group of birds and beasts all started to cry out, creating an imposing manner. The incomparably huge towering tree, the Tree Lord, also narrowed its pitch-black tree hole and stared at nature's gate. After the miraculous bridge appeared, an exquisite spatial aura immediately burst out from it. This aura was like a ripple, continuously spreading outwards, and with every circle it spread out, the spatial aura inside would increase by one circle. At the end, the spatial aura surrounding the bridge was already as thick as a thick fog, almost covering the bridge, making it difficult to disperse. Suddenly, inside the gate of nature, a strange crack appeared on the bridge that connected to the void. Following that, several figures came out from the crack and appeared inside the gate of nature. A loud and angry voice sounded at the same time. "People of Wanhua realm, return my son's life." This roar was so loud that it shook the eardrums of countless people, and they almost fainted. After the voice came out, a man and a woman flew out from the gate of nature and floated in the air. Both of them had extraordinary temperament. The man had sharp eyebrows and starry eyes. His cheeks were thin and his appearance gave off an incomparably ancient feeling. He wore a dark yellow sword robe and carried a two-handed gigantic sword on his back. He stood proudly in the sky and stared angrily at the Realm Master and the others in the distance. Beside the man was a middle-aged woman with long fiery red hair. The woman was slightly fat, her skin was fair, her cheeks were a little swollen, and she held a sword in her hand. At the moment, her face seemed to be distorted, the killing intent and anger in her eyes were extremely strong, her two eyes stared straight at the Realm Master, as though she wanted to tear her into pieces. When the two appeared, everyone knew who they were. The man was the sect leader of all empty sect, Xiao Changtian, and the woman was the sect leader's wife, Phoenix Lady. When the two of them appeared, their killing intent was overflowing. They were both at the peak of the 10th stage of the Sky Spirit Master, and when they were happy or angry, they could affect the world and cause the weather to change. Brother Xiao, why are you wasting your breath? If these Wanhua realm people are willing to hand over the culprit who killed Huilin, then that's fine. If they are not willing to hand over the culprit, then we can just go and look for him ourselves. Another voice floated out from behind, and then 3 figures flew out from the Bridge of Realm. All 3 of them used swords. One of them was dressed in a jade robe, with long hair that hung down to his shoulders, delicate features, and a thin and small figure, just like a woman. It was said that Qin Wenrong was the sect master of the swordsmanship-seeking sect, and once he used it, he would be invincible, and all the immortals and gods would be killed. It was extremely terrifying. The swordsmanship-seeking sect was also famous in the sword world. The other person was a bald man named Dao Xing, the sect master of the Luotong sect. Dao Xing had no hair on his head, but there was a scorpion-like black mark on his head. This mark was not small, and it extended from his forehead all the way to his neck. In addition, this person had a ferocious face, and his eyes revealed an ominous glint, giving off a fiendish feeling. He also had a sword hanging from his waist, but this sword was very special. It was curved like a sickle, or perhaps it was more like a blade. As for the remaining person, he was extremely different. This person was clad in golden armor, like a god of war. His face could not be seen, as it was covered by a golden mask. Only a pair of deep eyes could be seen. He also had a sword hanging on his back, but it was not just one, but 7. Each of the swords exuded a terrifying aura, vast and boundless. He was the pavilion master of the Star Sword Pavilion, the Star Sword Sovereign. It was said that the star armor was the armor of the war god, an ancient divine object, and only the pavilion master of the Star Sword Pavilion could wear it. Wearing the armor, the nebula sword art would have a miraculous effect, causing the effect of the sword art to increase by several times, and its power would be extremely powerful. The appearance of these 3 people represented the position of the swordsmanship-seeking sect, the Luotong sect and the Star Sword Pavilion. I have always heard that the Wanhua realm is a harmonious world. The people here love peace, maintain peace, and everyone treats others with extreme sincerity, regardless of scheming or scheming. They have never done anything devoid of conscience, but I never thought that my sword world would not come here to play, but instead suffer from such torment. From this, it can be seen that the people of the Wanhua realm only have an undeserved reputation. At this time, the armored Starry Sky Sword Sovereign spoke. His voice was cold and filled with disdain. Ayaya, this world does not lack people with high morals. Obviously, this famous Wanhua realm is like this. Qin Wenrong crossed his arms across his chest and laughed softly. He looked at the realm master in the distance, and for some reason, a strange look of jealousy flashed past his eyes. He sneered. In my opinion, the dirtiness of the people of the Wanhua realm is not much different from the true devil realm. That's right. Ha 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 ha, the group of people laughed along. Chapter 6:25. The ridicule of these people caused the realm tree ministers to be extremely angry. They all gritted their teeth and were extremely agitated. What did you say? What sanctimonious act? Don't spout nonsense. Minister Yang Lang stood up and shouted, his voice sonorous. You sword world people are only interested in profit, cruel and heartless, And you think you are worthy to talk about benevolence and righteousness with my Wanhua realm people? This is truly the biggest joke in the world. Rongmyuk said indifferently. They are just a bunch of good-natured fellows. There is no need for everyone to argue with them. Just treat it as a joke. The realm tree ministers spoke one after another and started to counterattack. With that said, Xiao Changtian, Qin Wenrong and the rest were not angry. Their expressions did not change as they stared at the realm master. Are you the realm master of the Wanhua realm? Xiao Changtian ignored the words of the realm tree ministers and asked the young lady dressed in green. Yes. The realm master nodded slightly and did not say much. Towards the realm master who treasured words like gold, these realm tree ministers were already used to it, but towards Xiao Changtian and the rest, they felt that it was a kind of naked arrogance. Xiao Changtian's face darkened. He stared at the realm master and said coldly, "My son Xiao Huilin died miserably in your Wanhua realm, and now there are no bones left and his soul has scattered. Your Wanhua realm people must give me an explanation today, if not, I will definitely not let this matter rest." Explanation? The realm master raised her head slightly. Her hair that was as black as ink danced beside her fair and exquisite ears. She said softly, "How do you want us to explain this? Of course it's to hand over the person who killed my son, and your Wanhua realm must also be responsible for this matter. You must compensate my all-empty sect with all the spirit land in the southeast of Wanhua realm, as compensation for the pain of my son's death." Xiao Changtian said coldly, "What? You still want to cede land?" The realm tree ministers were all stunned. They thought that as long as they handed over the person who killed Xiao Huilin, they would be able to make the other party give up, but they did not expect Xiao Changtian to still request for them to cede land. The spirit land in the southeast was a cultivation treasure land. The right side of the spirit land was the Linglong Mountain. The importance of that place to the Wanhua realm was self-evident. It could not be lost, and furthermore, if a realm were to lose a part of it to the people of other realms, wouldn't that mean that they were selling their own windows to others? How can I allow someone else to snore beside my bed? Everyone present was well aware of this. The main point of Xiao Changtian's words was to cede the land, and once he agreed, the all-empty sect, or rather, the power of the sword world would successfully invade the Wanhua realm, and the Wanhua realm would never be at peace. Everyone stared at Realm Master, stared at Xiao Changtian, as though they were waiting for a reply. What a fool's dream! Yang Lang snorted. Everyone knew that the Realm Lord would never agree to this. However, sure. Just at this moment, the Realm Master suddenly let out a clear and melodious voice, giving her reply. With that said, the Realm Tree ministers were all dumbfounded. All of them widened their eyes and mouths, staring at the Realm Lord in astonishment. Everyone's mind was blank, stunned. Realm Lord, what did you say? Yang Lang cried out involuntarily. Realm Lord, are you really going to cede the land? He absolutely could not agree to this. Once we agree, my Wanhua realm will never have a peaceful day. Lu Yuan, who was behind, also rushed over and said excitedly, "These people are clearly coveting the rich resources of my Wanhua realm. They are no different from the small fries of the true devil realm. Realm Master, please reconsider." Everyone was shocked and shouted anxiously. Only Prime Minister Rongmyuk did not say a word. Hearing the words of the officials, the Realm Master did not say a word, and quietly looked at Xiao Changtian. Xiao Changtian was also a little confused. Everyone looked at each other, secretly exchanging glances. No one would have thought that the Wanhua Realm Master would actually be so easy to talk to. Although I can't see through her cultivation, judging from the appearance of this bone, she is probably just a young cultivator, and won't be able to achieve anything. In the end, she was just a little girl, and it was said that she had not inherited the position of Wanhua Realm Master for long. Looks like this time it will be a success. Phoenix Lady, who was beside Xiao Changtian, snorted, her face filled with disdain. Xiao Changtian nodded his head, looked at the Realm Master, and said, "At least you know what's good for you. Since that's the case, then all right, bring him out. In addition, quickly order the people from the southeast side of the Linglong Mountain to evacuate the area. I want to send people to set up a barrier to manage this place." "No problem," the Realm Master said softly. "But before that, can sect leader Xiao give us an explanation?" Xiao Changtian frowned slightly. "Xiao Huailin was buried in the Wanhua realm. According to your logic, killing a person and paying a debt, then Xiao Huailin slaughtered 793 people in the Wanhua realm, so he should be compensated. Since Xiao Huailin is already dead, I will not ask you to hand him over, but according to sect leader Zhao's words, you must compensate. The sword world is not yours, and it is not easy for me to choose, so I can only cede your sect's encampment to my Wanhua realm." As the sound of his voice faded, everyone was stunned. He never thought that the Wanhua realm master would actually beat Xiao Changtian back with a single strike. If Xiao Changtian insisted on asking the Wanhua realm to hand over the land, then they would naturally not be able to escape. If they refused, wouldn't they be returning empty-handed? Xiao Changtian's face turned ugly, while Phoenix Lady was even more furious. "Damned girl, so that's what you were planning. All right, since you said so, then we will agree to it. However, you must first hand over the person and the land," Phoenix Lady shouted arrogantly. Hearing that, the Realm Tree Ministers naturally understood that if they were to hand it over, the Wanhua realm would not be able to receive anything. After all, if the all-empty sect went back on his word, they could not do anything to him. Xiao Huailin killed people first, and then was killed. How can we be responsible for his death first? This matter is not appropriate. If you want to compensate first, you should be the one to compensate first. The Realm Master rejected him lightly. Phoenix Lady was speechless. Xiao Changtian's expression changed, his heart secretly congealed. This Wanhua Realm Master is not simple, she is clearly with me, but with just a few words, she took away the initiative. You too, there is no need to reason with them. We have gathered more than 100,000 disciples from the 4 sects behind us, and our strength far surpasses theirs. Why do we need to argue with her? Qin Wenrong flew over and said softly, "Do we have to make a move directly? The Wanhua realm is famous after all. If we were to rashly make a move on the Wanhua realm, I am afraid that it would arouse the dissatisfaction of the other realm forces, and at that time, my all-empty sect will inevitably become the target of public criticism." Xiao Changtian said in a low voice, "Brother Xiao, since when did you become so overcautious? Could it be that we came here to negotiate with them?" Dao Xing asked. Xiao Changtian did not make a sound. But Phoenix Lady had already started to roar coldly. "Let's not talk about anything else, stinking girl. My son died in your Wanhua realm. No matter what you say, I do not care. Now you must first hand over the person who killed my son, if not I will not let this matter rest." Xiao Changtian nodded his head, his killing intent surging. "You're right, my son cannot die so mysteriously. Hand over the murderer who killed my son first. We will discuss the rest later." Hearing that, the Realm Master shook her head lightly. "There is actually no difference between killing and being killed. Xiao Huailin was killed because he killed someone else. If I hand over the person who killed Xiao Huailin and let you guys take revenge, then who will take revenge for those people who were killed by Xiao Huailin? You're not willing to hand him over?" Phoenix Lady's eyes turned red, her expression becoming sinister. She only had this one son, and now that she had lost her life here, the hatred in her heart towards the Wanhua realm could be said to be like a river, flowing endlessly. She wished that she could immediately bring her disciples and slaughter the entire Wanhua realm, so she did not want to waste words with this girl. Realm Master did not speak. This action caused the anger of the people from all empty sect to soar to the heavens. "Good. Good. Very good." Xiao Changtian nodded his head, his killing intent exploding. He said sinisterly, "Since that's the case, then don't blame me for not giving you face. if you are not willing to hand him over, then I can only kill the people of Wanhua Realm, and pay for my son's life." With that said, the people of Sword World all assumed a stance that they were ready to attack. "If you wish to become enemies with my Wanhua Realm, I can only fight you with all my might." Realm Master was not flustered at all. With that said, the surrounding Realm Tree soldiers and countless creatures surrounded them, all of them staring at Xiao Changtian and Phoenix Lady like tigers eyeing their prey. Only then did Phoenix Lady, Xiao Changtian and the rest notice the countless creatures and the Realm Tree soldiers below them. Seeing so much power, their faces became serious, but the two of them were not afraid, their expressions were still sinister, and their killing intent did not decrease. "Fine, since you're determined to fight with us, then come at me," Phoenix Lady growled. She pulled out a translucent green sword from her waist and said fiercely, "Where are the disciples of all empty sect?" Countless figures immediately appeared from within the Bridge of Realm. They were densely packed and uncountable. Starry Sky Sword Sovereign, Dao Xing and Qin Wenrong looked at each other, then sent out a signal to summon their sect's disciples. More and more people entered the Wanhua realm through the Bridge of Realm. A great battle was about to begin. Seeing so many people, the faces of the Realm Tree ministers became gloomy. The entire gate of nature was filled to the brim with people from the Sword World sects. There were around 100,000 of them, and each of them were not weaker than the first stage of the Sky Spirit Master. "Looks like there's going to be a fierce battle." Rong Muk sighed and said, "If you want to fight, then fight. There's no other choice. If we don't fight today, there won't be any fruit in the future." The Realm Master said indifferently, "But what if the people of True Devil Realm were to ambush us at this time?" Rong Muk asked anxiously. "The people of True Devil Realm will not attack." The Realm Master said indifferently, "I have chosen the battlefield in front of Gate of Nature. Even if the people of True Devil Realm enter the Wanhua Realm, they will only appear here, unless they want to fight us head-on, otherwise they can only watch." Hearing that, Rong Muk secretly nodded his head. He finally understood why the Realm Master would gather the army here, not only to block the people of all empty sect, but also to block the people of True Devil Realm. "Hey, you brats from the outside world, are you so arrogant? Do you even put me, an old man, in your eyes?" Just as the people of the Sword World sect were gathering and preparing to fight, a deep voice came out. Phoenix Lady and Xiao Changtian looked towards the direction of the voice, only to see an incomparably huge tree slowly moving towards them. Chapter 626. "This is Tree Spirit?" Xiao Changtian frowned. The tree spirit leaned towards them for a while. Its body was too big, and its roots were on the ground. Moving its huge body would destroy countless amounts of soil, and it could not move very far. After moving for a while, it stopped. The face on its torso changed for a while, its pitch-black eyes squinted, staring at Xiao Changtian and the rest, and then chuckled. "You guys are preparing to attack the Wanhua realm, right?" His voice was filled with a hint of playfulness, causing people to feel anger in their hearts. "Humph, a mere rotten wood, how dare you be so impudent here?" Phoenix Lady said in disdain. "Rotten wood." The Tree Lord's eyes narrowed even more. He only heard a cold snort coming from the gigantic tree trunk. Following that, the countless gigantic branches on the Tree Lord's tree trunk extended infinitely, and fiercely struck towards the people of Sword World. The dense profound strength was like the collapsing heavens, majestic and vast, unstoppable. Xiao Changtian and the rest all had congealed expressions. They all activated the profound strength to resist. The disciples of the various sects were also caught off guard by this attack, and all of them scattered in panic. But in the next second, the realm took the initiative. Without any warning, she directly raised her fair and slender jade arm. Her eyes filled with spirituality stared at Xiao Changtian and the others, and at this time, her clear and melodious voice popped out two ice-cold words. "Attack!" In an instant, the entire gate of nature was in an uproar. Phoenix Lady and Xiao Changtian were completely stunned this time. They had brought several sects to the Wanhua realm to demand an explanation, and had even invited the Cloud Heavenly Palace to suppress them. If it was any other small realm, they would have already bowed down and not dared to resist, but the new Wanhua realm lord did not care about their feelings at all. Wasn't she afraid of provoking an even stronger enemy for the Wanhua realm? Xiao Changtian thought in shock. No one would have thought that the battle would unfold just like that. The Tree Lord was not an existence who liked to gossip. With just a single word of disagreement, he immediately attacked, but the Realm Master was not careless, and immediately launched an attack towards the other party. This action had already fully expressed his attitude towards the other party. If you want peace, you can discuss it. If you don't want to discuss it, then fight. Compromise? It would never happen. Seeing that, Xiao Changtian was truly furious, looking at the Realm Master who was standing in front of the Realm Tree Minister. His eyeballs seemed as though they were about to pop out of their sockets. Very well, since you've already made your decision, there's no need to discuss it further. Xiao Changtian let out a long roar. He pulled out the gigantic sword on his back. He moved like lightning, instantly appearing in front of Realm Master. With a horizontal slash, the sword tip released tens of thousands of lightning bolts, like spider silk wrapping around Realm Master. Spirit Flower Sky Dance. Realm Master unhurriedly waved her hand, and specks of green light circled around her delicate body. Tens of thousands of lightning strikes were all absorbed by the green light, unable to harm her in the slightest. But was Xiao Changtian an ordinary person? Not being able to injure his opponent with a single strike, he immediately clenched his 5 fingers and smashed towards the green light. The fist released a sharp glint, directly breaking through the green light and striking towards Realm Master. Realm Master's face darkened. She immediately used her bare hands to block the incoming fist. The fist collided, releasing a loud sound. Realm Master retreated slightly, but Xiao Changtian flew backwards quickly. In terms of strength, even as the sect leader of all empty sect, Xiao Changtian was not a match for Realm Master. In a one-on-one battle, Realm Master was naturally not weak. "Brother Xiao, don't panic, I'll help you," Star Sword Sovereign shouted, and suddenly rushed towards Realm Master. His golden armor that was flickering with a golden light created tens of thousands of afterimages in the air, and both of his arms transformed into more than 100 arms, the 7 swords on his back all unsheathed, and rushed towards Realm Master together. At the same time, he controlled the 7 swords. This was the power of the nebula swordsmanship. Fighting against it was equivalent to fighting against 7 sword experts. Each of the Nebula Sword Venerable's sword moves were different. Some used a strength sword that weighed thousands of kilograms and could split a mountain. Some used a speed sword that was like a gust of wind, invisible and formless. Some used a flame sword that was scorching hot and could roast the sea. There were also some who used a stone sword that was hard and indestructible. Star Sword Sovereign and Xiao Changtian, one on the left and one on the right, cooperated with each other and launched a fierce attack on the young girl, who looked to be only 17 or 18 years old. The Realm Master's body was light as she dodged to the left and right like a fairy. She pointed at the air with her white finger, and the surrounding space immediately rippled with a dark green ripple, like the surface of a lake that had been disturbed. Following that, a large number of thick branches shot out from the air and fiercely pierced towards the 2 of them. The 2 of them immediately raised their swords to block, but they felt the pressure increase. This little girl's strength is indeed not to be underestimated. "I can't use force against her," Xiao Changtian said coldly. "What should we do?" Star Sword Sovereign asked. Xiao Changtian used his sword to blast away the overbearing Realm Master. He retreated and snorted. The Wanhua realm is mainly made up of spirit life qi. Many of the living beings here rely on the spirit life qi emitted by the realm tree to survive. Sword Sovereign, I will hold her back. Quickly bring your disciples around the realm tree's army, and pounce straight for the realm tree. Saying that, Xiao Changtian's face became extremely sinister. Since my son is buried here, then, I want the entire Wanhua realm to accompany him in death." With that said, Star Sword Sovereign immediately nodded his head, indicating that he was ready to take action. When the Realm Master heard this, her fair face suddenly became extremely cold and gloomy. "Sect Leader Xiao, do you really think that the people of my Wanhua realm are easy to bully?" As the sound of his voice faded, killing intent appeared. At this moment, the spirit life chi that was circling around Realm Master's body suddenly disappeared without a trace, and her fair skin also started to turn pink in the blink of an eye. It was as if he had become a completely different person. Such a strange phenomenon caused Xiao Changtian to be a little dazed. This kind of power was definitely not something that could be produced by the spirit life chi. In the next second, he broke out in cold sweat. He didn't know why, but he felt as if he could be killed by the young girl in front of him at any time. What was going on? Why did he have such a feeling? Although this girl's cultivation is higher than mine and I am unable to kill her, she can't do anything to me either. Xiao Changtian's forehead was covered in perspiration. This time, the pressure the girl in front of him gave him had become unprecedentedly huge. "Stop!" Just as the people of Realm Tree, All Empty Sect, Ask Sword Sect, Luotong Sect and Star Sword Pavilion were fighting fiercely, a deep and angry shout came from the other side of the Bridge of Realm. In the midst of the majesty of the voice, a burst of pressure floated out from the bridge and suppressed everyone. Other than a few sect masters, Realm Master and the Tree Lord, everyone else could not take it and squatted down on the ground. They felt as if their bones were about to be crushed, and it was extremely uncomfortable. When this happened, everyone understood that an incredible person had arrived. The two sides consciously retreated and faced each other. As for Xiao Changtian and the rest, they secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Xiao Changtian's face revealed a look of joy. He and Phoenix Lady anxiously turned, cupped their fists and bowed towards the Bridge of Realm, and respectfully called out, "Father! Father, you're finally here!" Phoenix Lady retracted her anger, and called out coquettishly. The Starry Sky Sword Sovereign and the rest actually cupped their fists and bowed, full of respect. "Greetings, Elder Jean." "Greetings, Elder Jean." The pious voice rang out non-stop. Although the Star Sword Pavilion, Luotong Sect and the Ask Sword Sect were not small in scale, compared to the Cloud Heavenly Palace, they were nothing. This time, the reason why Xiao Changtian was able to invite the help of the three sects was not only because he had promised them great benefits, but also because of the relationship between the All-Empty Sect and the 13th Elder of the Cloud Heavenly Palace, Jean Maluo. 7,000 men and women dressed in white robes with long swords on their backs rushed out from the Bridge of Realm. After these men and women appeared, they stood on the left and right, flying in an orderly manner. What was shocking was that all of these disciples had a cultivation of the third stage of the Sky Spirit Master, and the profound chi was extremely dense, far surpassing ordinary third stage of the Sky Spirit Master people. They stood proudly with extraordinary temperaments. Their bodies were emitting a bright light as if they were immortals. And in the middle of these people, an old man with golden hair and a golden beard walked out. The old man had one hand behind his back and the other holding an iron staff. The iron staff was silver-white in color, and the body of the staff was extremely sharp and heavy. He stepped on a cloud formed from sword chi and floated over, his sharp eyes sweeping across every single Realm Tree person in front of him. The moment this person appeared, the sword chi and spirit life chi that were reverberating in front of the gate of nature immediately disappeared. What replaced them was only one kind of chi, and that was the chi that belonged solely to this old man. "Father, you have to uphold justice for your grandson." Phoenix Lady ran over and grabbed Jean Maluo's arm. Her eyes were filled with tears as she cried out sorrowfully. Jean Maluo only nodded his head quietly, patted Phoenix Lady's shoulder, and told her to wait at the side, while he walked towards the Realm Master. The Realm Master removed the strange profound strength from her body and looked at Jean Maluo, who was walking over without saying a word. On the other hand, the Tree Lord was unhappy. "Hey, who are you?" A rough voice came out. "I am the 13th Elder of the Cloud Heavenly Palace, Jean Maluo," the old man said indifferently. "I am here today to seek justice for my grandson, Xiao Huailin. I can't hand over the person, and I won't cede the land either," the Realm Master said softly, directly making her words clear, showing her stance. "Do you insist on fighting with us?" Jean Maluo's face became gloomy. "Lord Realm Master, I have heard some rumors about you. It is said that you are the most unreasonable person in the Wanhua realm. The previous Realm Master has always done good deeds, carried forward the Wanhua realm's purpose, and abided by your duties, but you are different. Your mouth is filled with benevolence and righteousness, but in private, you have killed a lot of people, although the people you killed were all because the other party violated the rules of the Wanhua realm, but many people did not deserve to die. Don't you have anything to say about this?" The Realm Master raised her head, her eyes looked at Jean Maluo quietly, and said indifferently, "What you have heard is just an appearance. All the people I have killed are people who deserve to be killed. Maybe you have your reasons," Jean Maluo said indifferently. "But I understand, everything you have done is for the Wanhua realm. Although you are different from the previous Wanhua Realm Master, if the Wanhua Realm suffers any losses, you will feel bad. Let me give you a piece of advice. If you continue to act so recklessly, and insist on fighting with us, then I can only regretfully tell you, the Wanhua Realm will not be peaceful in the future, and there is even the possibility of it being destroyed." Chapter 6:27. If these words came out of Xiao Changtian's mouth, many people would scoff at them. No matter how strong the all-empty sect was, they could not compare to the Wanhua realm, but Jean Maluo was different. Standing behind him was the entire Cloud Heavenly Palace. Compared to the Wanhua realm, the power of this power was definitely not inferior. Jean Maluo did indeed have the qualifications to say such words. "From what you said, it seems like there is another solution," the Realm Master said indifferently. "That's right." Jean Maluo nodded his head. "Our Cloud Heavenly Palace does indeed have no enmity with the Wanhua realm. My grandson died miserably in this realm, but I know this was not done intentionally by your people, Realm Master. If I were to place all the responsibility on you, it would make people think that my Cloud Heavenly Palace is unreasonable." "At least you've said something fair," said Yi Shiwen with a smile. The Tree Lord snorted and said, "Since that's the case, why aren't you taking your men and leaving this place?" "Leave?" Jean Maluo shook his head. "Although the responsibility is not entirely on you in the end, you cannot escape responsibility. If we do not seek justice, we will not leave just like that." "Then what the hell are you trying to do?" The Tree Lord was impatient, and roars came out from the huge tree trunk. "You don't want to fight, you don't want to leave, what exactly do you want?" Hearing that, Jean Maluo smiled faintly. He looked at the Realm Master, and said indifferently, "Realm Master, before that, may I ask, have you kept my grandson's corpse? Xiao Huailin's bones are indeed preserved in the Realm Tree, but he only has bones left, no flesh and blood, no soul, no hope of resurrection, no way to reverse the situation." The Realm Master said indifferently, "Resurrection is naturally impossible, and I don't have any extravagant hopes. However, please return my grandson's corpse first," Jean Maluo said. This request was not excessive. Furthermore, the reason why the Realm Master saved Xiao Huailin's bones was to return it to the all-empty sect. The Realm Master turned his head and nodded at Rong Myuk, who was beside him. Rong Myuk understood and immediately ordered people to return to the Realm Tree to retrieve Xiao Huailin's bones. Very quickly, the person who returned to the Realm Tree returned. He took out a waxy yellow wooden coffin from the space bag and placed it on the ground. Seeing that, Jean Maluo immediately flew in front of the coffin and opened it. Inside the coffin was a set of clean, white human bones. The human bones were sparkling and translucent like fine jade. Seeing the skeleton, Phoenix Lady immediately burst into tears, while Xiao Changtian also cried, his expression sorrowful. Jade bone. Jean Maluo stretched out his old hand and caressed the withered bone, his eyes filled with turbidity. When Huailin was born, I had met with the palace master and asked for the dark green jade bone for him. I inserted it into his body and recast his bones, allowing him to have a perfect set of jade bones and increase his talent. But I never thought that the jade bone would still be here, but the person would be gone. Sigh. Jean Maluo let out a long sigh. His heart was filled with entanglement. People with his cultivation level would not be easily disturbed by their temperament, but the corpse in front of him was his own grandson. How could he not feel anything? Father, you must avenge Huailin. Phoenix Lady sobbed and screamed with all her might. Don't worry, the murderer will definitely not get away with it. Jean Maluo retracted his sorrow and said calmly. He grabbed one of the hand bones and placed it in his palm. He slightly activated his profound energy and a golden light wrapped around the jade bone. Fighting will only cause both sides to suffer. Although the people of my sword world use fighting as their main method of cultivation, but today we are not here to cause trouble, but to seek justice. This old man will not force you, and you will also take a step back. We will have a fair competition, and whoever loses will satisfy the other party's conditions. How about it? A contest. Realm Master frowned slightly. Right, a contest. Jean Maluo stood up, his gaze staring at Xiao Huailin's jade bone in his hands. He suddenly grabbed the iron staff that was like a sword and slashed in the air. The body of the staff released a mysterious profound strength. Tearing through the air, a pitch-black lustrous circle of light appeared in front of Jean Maluo. But before that, the murderer who killed my grandson must pay with his life. If that person gets away scot-free, then everything will be meaningless to this old man. With that said, Jean Maluo suddenly crushed the jade bone in his hand, turned it into powder, and scattered it into the air. The powder revolved around the air, and in the end stuck in the air, releasing a strange spatial aura. This is, Realm Master's face changed slightly. What are you trying to do? Jean Maluo snorted. Since Realm Master is unwilling to hand over the murderer who killed Huailin, then this old man can only do it myself. Linglong Mountain. Near the entrance of the dark place, Su Yun and Hu Qianmei had just landed on the ground. At the moment, there were very few people at the entrance of the dark place. All empty sect, Ask Sword sect and the other 4 great sects had attacked the Wanhua realm with the help of the Cloud Heavenly Palace. This news had long spread throughout the entire Wanhua realm, and even the people from the other realms knew about it. For a time, it caused a huge uproar. All the spirit cultivators south in the dark place were already in danger, afraid that the incident would affect them. When the 2 of them entered the dark place, they saw that the dark place was already packed with people. Just the entrance alone was blocked by a lot of people. People were gathered in 2s and 3s, discussing something, and the people who brought people to the crevice in the past were doing very well. The Wanhua realm was not peaceful. The gate of nature was sealed. In order to protect themselves, everyone could not wait to leave, and the only exit was the dark place. There are many spatial cracks in the dark place that can tear apart the spirit cultivator. They are not cracks that lead to other realms. We need to find a guide, and have him bring us to the designated crack that leads to the ultimate martial world. Su Yun said. All right, let's go look for it now. Hu Qianmei nodded, pulled Su Yun's clothes and followed him forward. At this time, no one rushed towards Su Yun and enthusiastically introduced their business to him. Everyone was busy, and many of the sect members in the Linglong Mountain chose to leave. It was obvious that the commotion here made them extremely uneasy. Su Yun looked around and finally found a person who was selling the coordinates of the spatial crack that led to the ultimate martial world. It looked like a beast man with a human body and a rabbit head, but it was not cute at all. Its face was filled with dents, as if it had been slashed by a knife. One of its eyes was blind, the other was blood red, and its entire body was emitting a disgusting rotten smell. Judging from its chi, it should be at the second stage of the Sky Spirit Master, but with this kind of cultivation, it should be able to repair its body by itself. How could it be blind? How strange. To the ultimate martial world? No problem, one price, 5 million profound coin per person. The man stretched out his hand and said, 5 million. Hu Qianmei was startled, and then became angry. The others are all 3 million, why are you 5 million? You are simply ripping people off. The time is different, so the price is naturally different. The rabbit-headed man said. According to reliable information, the people of all empty sect and the Cloud Heavenly Palace have already crossed the Bridge of Realm and entered the Wanhua realm. They are currently facing off against the Realm Tree Army, and a great battle is about to break out. At that time, I am afraid that the entire realm will be affected. If you do not want to die and want to leave this place as soon as possible, then pay me 10 million. If not, I will definitely not bring you to the crack that leads to the ultimate martial world. After the rabbit-headed man finished speaking, he immediately turned around and ignored the two of them. He had a lot of business, so he did not care about the two of them. But in the next second, a blood-red dagger was suddenly placed on the rabbit-headed man's neck. Stop, did I let you go? Hu Qianmei held onto the dagger and said coldly. Rabbit-headed man's body stiffened. He stopped in his tracks, turned his head, and stared at Hu Qianmei and said, What are you doing? What? If you don't bring us to the ultimate martial world's crack, then don't blame me for being impolite. Hu Qianmei said coldly. Do you know what the consequences will be if you do such a thing here? Rabbit-headed man did not panic. Instead, his voice was extremely cold. This kind of behavior of yours is absolutely not allowed. You will face the punishment of the entire dark place. I can guarantee that as long as you harm a single hair of mine, the two of you will definitely not be able to leave this place. Then let's give it a try. Hu Qianmei coldly snorted. If we don't leave this place, we will also die. Since we are going to die, why don't we drag you down with us? You, Qianmei, put down the blade. Just then, Su Yun spoke up. Hu Qianmei was startled. She turned to look at Su Yun. Big brother? Put down the blade. It's only 10 million profound coin. I can afford it. Su Yun laughed. Seeing that, rabbit-headed man looked at Su Yun. You have money? Why didn't you say so earlier? Why go through so much trouble? Don't be so long-winded. Hurry up and bring us there. Time is of the essence. If we delay and the two of us do not leave this place, then even if the Heavenly King is here, I will still kill you and bury you with us. Do you know? Su Yun waved the profound coin card in his hand and said indifferently. Rabbit-headed man glanced at the card in Su Yun's hand, then looked at Hu Qianmei, his face changing, but he did not say a word, and immediately turned and walked forward. Seeing that, Hu Qianmei was truly startled. You're that rich? It's just that I have money, Su Yun said shamelessly. The two of them followed. Hu Qianmei kept her blade. However, just as Hu Qianmei took a few steps forward, with her as the center, a large number of golden halos suddenly shot out. The halo of light was like the sun, releasing a scorching light, illuminating the entire dark place. Qianmei? Su Yun was shocked and immediately went forward. But just as he approached, an invisible barrier suddenly isolated him. What was going on? Were you the one who killed my grandson, Xiao Huailin? Dark place? Crack? You want to escape through the door of disorder here? Ridiculous, did this old man allow you to run? A melodious voice sounded from the unseen world. Hu Qianmei, who was surrounded by the halo, was extremely terrified. She looked around uneasily and shouted, Who are you? I am the 13th clan elder of Cloud Heavenly Palace, Jin Maluo, Xiao Huilin's grandfather, and obediently submit and pay for my grandson's life. With that said, a spatial storm exploded above the circle of light. In the center of the storm, a large golden hand extended out like a mountain pressing down, it smashed towards Hu Qianmei fiercely. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.